3I Atlas, the cosmic mirror that will liberate or enslave humanity. Tia, Arcturian message. I am Tia of Arcturus. And it is with a sense of profound connection that I address you now. We are, in this very moment, tuning in with great sensitivity to the collective resonance of humanity, that vast, intricate web of consciousness that has been reaching out across the cosmic distances. We feel the yearning in your hearts, the depth of your unspoken questions, and the fervent desire within you to truly comprehend the profound transformations unfolding upon your world. You have, perhaps without fully realizing the magnitude of your actions from your human vantage point, opened yourselves in ways that are truly extraordinary. And yet, from our perspective, we not only feel your presence, but we can perceive and measure this remarkable expansion within you. And so, we can unequivocally assure you, you are not the same beings you were even a few short years, or even mere moments ago. You have, quite dramatically, raised your vibrational frequency, much like a finely tuned instrument resonating with a higher, clearer note. This ascent hasn't been a passive phenomenon. It's a direct consequence of the conscious, often courageous, choices you've been making. It stems from your newfound willingness, perhaps even an undeniable urgito, feel more deeply, to embrace the full spectrum of emotions without judgment, allowing them to flow through you like cleansing rivers. It's also evident in your expanding capacity to care more genuinely, extending empathy not just to your immediate circles, but to the broader tapestry of humanity and even the earth itself. And fundamentally, it's rooted in your commitment to be present, truly present, not only with yourselves, honoring your inner wisdom and intuition, but also with one another, fostering authentic connections that transcend superficial interactions. This incredible evolution has unfolded in the very crucible of chaos, amidst overwhelming uncertainty, and in the face of relentless narratives designed to ensnare you in fear and perpetuate separation. Yet, despite these formidable challenges, you have steadfastly, courageously continued to choose the path of sensitivity, of heartfelt connection, and of conscious awareness. This is precisely why you are now experiencing this undeniable sensation that something is different. Have you not felt it? This is why, when you survey the landscape of your world, or even when you simply retreat into quiet introspection, you instinctively know that the energetic fabric of reality is no longer the same as it once was. You are feeling a worldwide shift because, quite simply, there's a worldwide shift actively underway. And crucially, it doesn't begin out there, it initiates deep within each of you, manifesting as an inner movement, a profound reorientation of your attention, and a re-anchoring of your fundamental trust. You are more than ready for what comes next, and deep within your being, you instinctively know you are ready. Even if your logical minds still grapple with lingering questions and persistent doubts, your very bodies are responding, resonating with the new, higher frequencies that are now streaming to Earth with increasing intensity. You're likely noticing these shifts in the subtle, yet significant changes in your sleep patterns, in the ebb and flow of your emotional landscape, in the dynamics of your relationships, and even in the peculiar way time itself seems to expand or contract, accelerating or slowing for you. These are emphatically not random fluctuations or mere coincidences. On the contrary, they are profound indicators, unequivocal signs of how deeply, how thoroughly, you have already whispered yes to the next magnificent version of yourselves. You did not require a grand announcement plastered across your news channels, nor did you need a specific date circled prominently on your calendars. Why? Because this monumental shift has been unfolding, not on the superficial surface, but within the subtle, intricate layers of your very awareness. You can feel this transformation stirring deep within your core. You have been preparing for this precise moment, not by perfecting the external facets of your lives, not by meticulously arranging the perfect external circumstances around you, but by daring to become more profoundly honest with yourselves about how you truly feel and about the magnificent, authentic beings you truly are. The dramatic changes that you are beginning to witness and will continue to see in your societal structures, in your governments, in your economies, and in your collective agreements will invariably follow the profound internal changes you have already made. This is why we consistently emphasize that the shift is internal first and external second. The outer world, you see, possesses no capacity to do anything but reflect the dominant vibration, the prevailing consciousness of the beings who are actively creating it. And you're those beings, because you have fundamentally shifted. The reflections in your external reality must shift as well. It is an immutable law of the cosmos. One of those emerging reflections is precisely what you refer to as 3I Atlas. We want to convey with absolute clarity that this celestial object is not here to instill fear or to threaten you in any way, nor is it here to swoop in and rescue you from yourselves. Instead, it serves a much more profound purpose. It is here as a magnificent mirror for your awakening sensitivity, a tangible sign, shimmering in your skies, that beautifully confirms what you have already been feeling, sensing, and instinctively knowing deep within your bodies and in your hearts. As you perceive it, as you contemplate its very existence, you are not merely gazing at an inanimate rock. In truth, you are looking directly at yourselves, at the astonishing level of consciousness that you, as a collective, have now attained. And this, beloved humans, is why we are so incredibly excited and deeply honored to be sharing this particular now with you. Your sensitivity, far from being a weakness, is your greatest strength. It is, in fact, the brand new, resilient foundation upon which you will collectively build your evolving societies, pioneer your innovative technologies, and forge completely new ways of relating to one another and, indeed, to the rest of the vast, interconnected galaxy. And so, as you hear the myriad stories about 3I Atlas, as you encounter its images and the various simulations, as you absorb the narratives speculating about what it is and what it might do, we gently invite you to pause. Take a moment to check in with yourselves, to go inward, and to simply notice how it feels to you. Observe that a profound, ancient part of you instinctively recognizes it not as some random, inert rock hurtling through space, but as an integral piece of a much larger, exquisite orchestration. It is part of an ongoing, living conversation between you and the cosmos, a dialogue that you are now, finally, ready to hear and truly understand. When you look out at your world, when you gaze up into your infinite skies, when you listen intently to your news reports and engage in your conversations with one another, you're never truly seeing or hearing something entirely separate from yourselves. On the contrary, you are perpetually encountering vibrant reflections of your own collective vibration, the intricate tapestry of thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and expectations that you hold both individually and synergistically together. This is precisely why we reiterate that everything is a mirror for you. And this is why you possess an incredible capacity to learn so much about your own inner state simply by paying close attention to how you are responding to what appears to be outside of you. 3i Atlas is one of these powerful mirrors, and it is a particularly clear one. Why? Because it arrives without the heavy overlay of years and years of collective agreement about what it is supposed to mean. It enters your collective consciousness without a long, preconceived history, and thus, you have far more room, more spaciousness to see your own projections upon it in real time, as you listen to the circulating stories, and as you keenly notice your own immediate reactions. Some, for instance, will perceive it and immediately feel a distinct tightening in their bodies, an undeniable sense that something ominous is looming, that danger is imminently approaching. They will, almost reflexively, attach this feeling to all the other fears they already harbor deep within. What is remarkable now is that you can observe yourselves doing this in a way that was not as easily accessible to you in previous decades. This enhanced self-awareness is a direct result of your expanded consciousness, which now encompasses your own rich inner landscape as an integral part of the larger picture. You no longer believe, with the same unshakable conviction as you once did, that what appears out there is fixed, immutable, and that you must simply react to its dictates. Instead, you are beginning to profoundly notice that your own state of being, your internal resonance, is the very first foundational piece of every single experience you encounter. When you read an article about 3i Atlas and experience a visceral contraction, understand that that contraction was already present within you. When you hear someone speak about it and feel a surge of excitement, realize that that excitement was already an active part of your vibration. The object itself simply provides a focal point. Imagine a magnetic force, a potent focal point that seems to draw your attention and energy. Yet, the profound truth is that what truly coalesces and vibrates with this external stimulus is nothing new. It's the latent potential, the inherent wisdom, and the vibrant essence that has been residing, patiently awaiting recognition within the very core of your being all along. Upon encountering this phenomenon, many individuals will experience an undeniable surge of wonder, a palpable curiosity that sparks deep within, accompanied by an exhilarating sense of expansion. This unfolding will gently, yet powerfully, compel them to unlatch the doors of their minds and hearts, inviting them to genuinely entertain the astonishing possibility that the tapestry of this universe is far more intricate and active, woven with threads of unseen forces and profound dynamics than they had ever dared to conceive before. They won't just observe it from a distance, rather, they will intuitively sense 3i Atlas as a profound resonance, a tangible thread seamlessly weaving itself into the intricate fabric of their own spiritual journey. It will register not as a standalone anomaly, but as an integral piece, a brilliantly illuminated that within a much grander, unfolding mosaic of synchronicities and meaningful signs that have been subtly, or perhaps overtly, revealing themselves throughout their lives. Crucially, it must be understood that neither of these divergent reactions is inherently right or wrong. Instead, both serve as invaluable, deeply informative reflections. They act as mirrors, vividly revealing the energetic currents and deep-seated patterns actively at play within your consciousness at this very moment. Moreover, They lay bare the profound extent to which your individual perception, the very lens through which you interpret reality, has been meticulously sculpted, often without conscious awareness, by layers of unexamined conditioning, like invisible programming guiding your every thought. For generations, the narrative has been relentlessly hammered into your collective psyche. Interpret the unusual, the unfamiliar, through the heavy, distorting lens of fear. This conditioning has been so pervasive, so deeply ingrained, that countless individuals find themselves automatically, almost instinctively, succumbing to this fearful interpretation. They react without a moment's pause, without that crucial breath of inquiry to simply ask, but what else could this truly signify? What other magnificent possibilities might be unfolding here? This celestial object, this enigmatic visitor 3-eye atlas presents an extraordinary, unparalleled opportunity. It is a moment to consciously observe that deeply ingrained, automatic fear response as it arises within you. It's an invitation to deliberately take a restorative breath, to create a sacred pause, and then to truly feel into your very core, assessing with profound honesty, does this inherited, knee-jerk reaction genuinely align with the expansive, empowered being you're actively in the process of becoming? In the very act of engaging with this profound self-inquiry, you initiate a powerful reclamation of your innate creative power, that dormant capacity to shape your reality rather than merely react to it. You cease to be automatons blindly running antiquated, pre-installed programs inherited from fear-based paradigms. Instead, you begin to respond to the intricate tapestry of life as truly conscious, deliberate beings, imbued with sovereign choice and expansive awareness. As you steadfastly deepen your practice in this profound form of self-observation, of vigilant, internal witnessing, you will progressively discover a liberating detachment. You will find yourselves far less susceptible to being swept away by the clamor of the loudest, most insistent voices, or the sensationalism embedded within the most dramatic, fear-mongering headlines. You will, with increasing clarity, remember that your fundamental experience of reality is primarily an energetic one, a subtle vibrational resonance that precedes and informs any subsequent conceptual or intellectual interpretation. In essence, 3-eye atlas serves as a cosmic tempo shifter, offering you a rare and precious opportunity to deliberately slow this often frenzied interpretative process down. It empowers you to consciously observe, within that newly created space, that you possess an undeniable, sovereign choice. Will you mindlessly feed the ingrained, programmed reaction, pouring your vital energy into a predetermined narrative of fear or scarcity? Or will you bravely choose to explore, to feel into an entirely different, more expansive vibration, one that resonates with possibility and inner truth? For those among you who are intrinsically aligned with the principles of expansion, growth, and boundless possibility, this celestial object will resonate not as a threat, but as an undeniable opening, a profound invitation. It beckons you to gaze upwards at the cosmic ballet, to journey deep within the sacred chambers of your own being, and to humbly consider the breathtaking possibility that a benevolent, loving intelligence is orchestrating, with exquisite precision, the timing and nature of such extraordinary encounters. You can consciously permit this profound thought to gently, subtly unfurl within your consciousness, without force or judgment. And as you do, you may find an immediate, palpable shift, a deep relaxation permeating your physical body, and a joyous, unfettered expansion of your energy radiating outwards, touching everything around you. It's crucial to understand a fundamental truth about fear is not some external, shadowy entity that descends upon you from an unseen realm, a foreign invading force. Rather, fear is an intrinsic movement within the very landscape of your own consciousness, a vibrational tremor that arises specifically when you assign greater significance, greater power, and greater attention to the ever-shifting circumstances unfolding outside of you than you do to the profound wisdom and unwavering strength residing within. From your very first breath, you were immersed in societies meticulously designed to indoctrinate you, from the tenderest of ages, into a pervasive habit to consistently defer to external authority, to scrutinize fleeting outer events, and to meticulously analyze prevailing outer conditions to dictate what is deemed possible for you and, crucially, what is considered safe. This training began long before you could consciously question it. This continuous, often invisible training is so profoundly consistent, so utterly pervasive in every facet of your existence, that countless individuals fail entirely to even recognize it as training at all. Instead, they simply internalize its tenets and unblinkingly label it as being realistic, inadvertently perpetuating a limited worldview rather than critically examining its foundational assumptions. Consequently, when something truly unknown and unprecedented appears on your horizon, be it a groundbreaking new technology that shakes societal norms, an unexpected political development that sends ripples through governance, or indeed, a colossal cosmic object like 3I Atlas making its grand entrance, the deeply ingrained, conditioned response is almost instantaneous. It is to reflexively scan the outer world with frantic urgency, frantically searching for facts, eagerly soliciting a multitude of opinions, and, most tellingly, preemptively constructing every conceivable worst-case scenario. You have been meticulously, if subtly, trained to instinctively ask, with an almost panicked urgency, what harm could this potentially do to us? Long before you ever consider turning inward to inquire, with far greater wisdom, what profound truths does this singular event reveal about who we are, about our own capabilities, and about our place in the cosmos? As you pause to reflect with honest discernment upon the annals of your own planetary history, a striking pattern begins to emerge with astonishing clarity. You can start to vividly perceive how an overwhelming number of humanity's most pivotal decisions, those that have fundamentally shaped civilizations and redirected destinies, have been tragically forged from this deeply entrenched, yet entirely fallacious, assumption that true power resides externally, separate from the sovereign individual, disconnected from the profound wisdom of the heart, and utterly divorced from the vital, present-moment connection to your own inviolable inner guidance. Consider the historical echoes wars, devastating in their scope, have been ruthlessly waged, not always for tangible gain, but out of a paralyzing fear among leaders of what dire consequences might unfold if they failed to strike first. Economies, the lifeblood of societies, have been systematically manipulated, distorted by the gnawing anxieties surrounding perceived scarcity and the ever-present specter of loss. Even entire societal policies spanning critical domains like public health, intricate migration patterns, and the equitable distribution of vital resources have frequently found their justification by vehemently pointing to, and often exaggerating, the presence of external threats. Every single instance, regardless of its specific manifestation, reveals the exact same underlying pattern, recurring endlessly, simply cloaked in different era-specific costumes. And at the very bedrock of this pervasive pattern lies a single, foundational, and profoundly disempowering belief that whatever formidable forces or circumstances exist out there in the external world are inherently more potent, more controlling, and ultimately stronger than the immense, untapped power that resides in here, within the sovereign domain of your own consciousness. When an anomaly as significant as 3I Atlas majestically enters the field of your collective awareness, it acts as an energetic probe, directly touching that deeply ingrained pattern of externalized fear and bringing it forcefully, unmistakably, to the surface. This allows you, for perhaps the first time, to finally perceive its contours with crystal clarity, stripped of all its elaborate disguises. You are then afforded the visceral opportunity to literally feel within the very fabric of your own physical bodies the resonant echo of all those countless previous instances throughout your life when you were implicitly or explicitly instructed to be afraid, to recoil from anything perceived as beyond your control. This deeply ingrained, almost reflexive habit of instinctively focusing outward first, always seeking external validation, external threats, external solutions is precisely what continuously provides fear with its potent, self-sustaining fuel. Because for as long as you remain firmly entrenched in the belief that external circumstances are the true holders of ultimate power, your intricately designed nervous systems will inevitably respond in kind, perpetually activating as though you are inherently small, tragically vulnerable, and entirely at the mercy of vast, uncontrollable forces swirling around you. And yet, with unwavering conviction, we wish for you to know, with every fiber of your being, that this disempowering narrative has never, not for a single moment, been the fundamental truth of who you intrinsically are. You are, at your profound essence, sovereign creators, meticulous experiencers, and masterful translators of pure vibration into tangible form. And within this magnificent design, you possess an inherent, inalienable ability to consciously choose how you position yourselves, how you hold your energetic stance in relation to any unfolding event, even those that appear, on the surface, to be the most daunting and imposing. 3I Atlas, by its very nature, effortlessly bypasses and renders irrelevant many of the conventional control structures that govern and shape your world, simply because it exists majestically beyond their reach. No earthly law, however grandly conceived, could be passed to halt its cosmic trajectory. No carefully constructed narrative, no matter how persuasively woven, can genuinely alter its predetermined path. And in doing so, it starkly reveals to you just how profoundly ingrained and utterly illogical much of your habitual fear response truly is demonstrating, with piercing clarity that is fundamentally predicated upon the old, disempowering training to perpetually perceive yourselves as passive subjects, beholden to whatever happens to appear in your observable reality. When you consciously notice this profound revelation, a powerful aperture swings open within your awareness, a sacred, expansive gap, Within this precious space, you are offered the profound opportunity to instantly remember, to viscerally re-embody the undeniable truth that your current state of being, your inner vibration, your emotional landscape, your conscious intention is, and has always been, your true, immutable center of power. In this very moment, standing at this crucial cosmic juncture, you possess another option, a profoundly liberating alternative. You can choose to pause, to intentionally extend that moment of stillness long enough to truly notice that the fear flickering within you is, in fact, a carefully constructed, learned response, rather than an inevitable, inherent reaction. You can consciously recognize, with unwavering clarity, that you were systematically trained to perceive the unknown, the unfamiliar, as inherently dangerous and threatening. And from that place of gentle self-awareness, you can begin to lovingly, tenderly question the very foundations of that old, limiting training. You can ask yourselves, with genuine curiosity, what transformative possibilities unfold when I consciously choose to soften and open, to expand into acceptance, instead of reflexively tightening my grip and bracing myself against an imagined impact. Indeed, 3i Atlas is not merely an observational phenomenon. It is, in a profound sense, actively offering you a peerless opportunity to deeply practice this very shift in consciousness. It is a sufficiently monumental event, grand enough in scale to undeniably capture the attention of billions, yet simultaneously neutral enough in its intrinsic nature devoid of immediate, direct threat or benefit, that it provides the perfect, uncontaminated laboratory for you to experiment freely with entirely different, more empowered ways of relating to the unknown. And as you courageously undertake this internal exploration, a magnificent discovery awaits you the moment you cease, definitively and irrevocably, to assume that true, life-shaping power resides solely outside of you. You will realize, with astonishing clarity, that fear suddenly has absolutely nothing, no solid ground whatsoever upon which to stand. While it may still, for a brief moment, arise as a fleeting sensation, a faint echo of that deeply ingrained, antiquated conditioning, but it no longer dictates your choices. You become the one who chooses consciously how to meet the moment. And in that choosing, you feel your true strength. The insidious, subtle grip of external influence no longer dictates the trajectory of your choices, nor does it circumscribe the very boundaries of your potential. Instead, you gracefully step into the empowering role of the one who actively and consciously selects how to meet each unfolding moment, whether it arrives as a gentle breeze or a sudden storm. And in the crucible of that deliberate, authentic choosing, you don't just think you're strong, you viscerally feel an undeniable surge of your true, inherent strength, a wellspring of resilience that originates from deep within your own being. For what has felt like an eternity on your world, stretching back through countless generations and epochs, the very essence of power was fundamentally misconstrued. It was invariably defined as a potent force that existed distinctly outside the individual, something external, separate from the tender chambers of the heart, and crucially, disconnected from the profound, intuitive knowing that each of you intrinsically carries within your core. From this singular, deeply embedded misconception, a vast and intricate web of societal constructs began to unfurl and solidify. Towering governments, sprawling institutions, Intricate religious structures, complex economic systems, and rigidly stratified social hierarchies all found their towering foundations cemented firmly upon this pervasive assumption that legitimate authority must invariably emanate from a source beyond the self, and that true safety, that deeply desired sense of security, could only be provisioned and guaranteed through unwavering alignment with these outwardly imposed, often monolithic, structures. How could we have overlooked the quiet power within? Indeed, this deeply entrenched belief system was no mere historical happenstance, no accidental byproduct of human evolution. On the contrary, it was meticulously cultivated, carefully nurtured, and strategically propagated across myriad generations, becoming an integral thread woven into the very fabric of the expectations you inherited simply by the act of being born onto this planet. Consequently, and almost imperceptibly, humanity became profoundly accustomed to habitually gazing outward, perpetually scanning the horizon for permission to exist, for the assurance of protection from unseen threats, for clear-cut direction in a bewildering world, and for the elusive balm of external validation, often feeling incomplete without it. When the very architecture of society is predicated upon the fundamental belief that power resides exclusively in external forces, an unavoidable consequence emerges: fear, in its multifaceted guises, naturally transmutes into the most efficient, indeed, the most potent and insidious method for influencing collective behavior. If individuals are subtly or overtly conditioned to perceive themselves as diminutive, almost insignificant entities within the colossal shadow of the systems that envelop them, then those very systems require only the faintest suggestion, the merest impression of impending threat or pervasive instability to effortlessly secure widespread compliance. The dusty pages of history books offer incontrovertible evidence, documenting this chilling pattern with stark clarity: policies enacted and justified under the banner of fear, devastating wars waged and rationalized by the specter of fear, and countless restrictions imposed, all meticulously defended with the powerful rhetoric of fear. A truly chilling legacy, isn't it? Yet, beneath these seemingly impregnable facades, a profound and often overlooked deeper truth awaits discovery. None of these colossal structures, no matter how imposing or eternal they appeared, possessed any inherent power independent of the collective, unspoken agreement that continuously fed and supported their existence. In reality, they were merely vibrational reflections, grand mirrors projecting the composite inner state of humanity at any given historical juncture, much like a play reflects the audience's collective consciousness rather than dictating it. For the very fabric of vibrational reality, the intricate tapestry of energy that underpins all existence, operates on principles entirely distinct from the rigid mechanics of brute force or the static ordering of hierarchy. It does not bend to coercion or command. Instead, it responds with exquisite precision to the subtle, powerful currents of resonance and alignment of energy, an echoing frequency that matches inner states, not outer demands. And so, a momentous shift began to ripple through the collective consciousness, as an increasing number of individuals started to courageously question the immutable nature of these established structures, to turn their gaze inward, cultivating a profound trust in their own authentic feelings, and to intuitively sensed that something fundamental within the old story, the inherited narrative of external power, simply did not align with their evolving internal experience. The seemingly unshakable foundations of those systems began, almost imperceptibly at first, to tremble and weaken, like ancient walls cracking under an unseen pressure. Indeed, you are currently living through a pivotal era where the tangible effects of that profound weakening are not just perceptible, but are becoming visibly manifest all around you. Crucially, this is not unfolding as a cataclysmic collapse born of chaotic disintegration, but rather as the elegant, natural consequence of a collective vibration that has organically matured, expanded, and fundamentally outgrown the constraining structures that were so rigidly built upon those antiquated, externalized assumptions. It's like a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis. The chrysalis doesn't collapse, the butterfly simply outgrows and leaves it. It is absolutely vital to grasp this profound insight, the old fear grid, that intricately interconnected, almost invisible web comprising deeply ingrained beliefs, pervasive societal narratives, and ingrained emotional patterns that relentlessly kept humanity oriented toward external authority, was held in place only by the continuous energetic alignment of those who subscribed to it. This pervasive construct possessed no independent power or self-sustaining vitality. It could not, by its very nature, exist entirely on its own, much like a reflection requires a mirror to be sustained. Consequently, as an ever-increasing number of individuals began to rediscover and cultivate their profound inner clarity, as more of you courageously chose the vibrant path of authenticity over the stifling confines of conformity, and as more of you bravely reclaimed your innate emotional awareness and exquisite sensitivity, these powerful acts collectively initiated a massive withdrawal of your vital life force and energetic focus from that old, debilitating grid. Your energy, once a constant fuel source, was simply redirected. And precisely because reality functions as a perfect mirror, faithfully reflecting vibrational frequencies, the outer expression of those once dominant old systems inevitably began to falter, to waver, and to show significant signs of strain. This phenomenon is vividly observable right now, isn't it? You see it manifesting in the palpable mistrust of once revered institutions, in the widespread and courageous questioning of long-held, unquestioned narratives, in the gradual yet undeniable dissolving of blind obedience, and in the surging, collective desire for profound personal sovereignty and a life guided by authentic, intuitive wisdom. This epochal shift is not merely a conventional rebellion, a violent overthrow of existing power structures in a chaotic burst of defiance. No, it is something far more subtle, yet infinitely more powerful. It is resonance. It is the harmonious alignment of countless individual vibrations, creating an irresistible current that simply bypasses the old, dissonant frequencies. Humanity, as a collective entity, simply no longer vibrates at the lower, constricting frequency of fear-based control, that once dominant energetic signature. And precisely because this colossal collective energy has profoundly shifted, the elaborate structures that depended entirely on that specific, subservient energy signature for their very sustenance and perpetuation are finding themselves utterly unable to maintain their cohesion or their once unquestioned authority. They're like plants starved of sunlight. This fundamental energetic mismatch is precisely why fear-based messaging, once so potent and persuasive, now often feels distinctly weaker, profoundly less convincing, and at times, even disarmingly incoherent. It's not necessarily because the messengers themselves have undergone some dramatic transformation, rather. It is because you, the collective consciousness of humanity, have profoundly changed. You're no longer energetically available, no longer receptive to those lower, fear-inducing frequencies in the same way you once passively were. Your inner tuning fork has been reset, and so the vast, intricate architecture of the old fear grid doesn't crumble under the weight of an external, forceful overthrow. Instead, it gracefully, almost inevitably, collapses through sheer vibrational mismatch. Consider this immutable law of the universe. Reality, in its exquisite precision, can only faithfully reflect that which is vibrantly active on an energetic level. Therefore, as an ever-increasing number of you align with your profound inner truth, the external expressions of reality are quite simply compelled to restructure and reconfigure themselves to impeccably match that ascended truth. It's an elegant, self-organizing process. This, then, reveals the exquisite mechanism of evolution within a vibrational universe. It is not a process predicated on the violent overthrow or destruction of what currently exists. Rather, it is an organic, expansive journey of rising beyond existing limitations, of elevating one's frequency and perspective until the old paradigms and structures simply lose their energetic grip, finding themselves utterly incapable of holding you within their confines any longer. Like a bird soaring above a cage it once inhabited. Fear, that pervasive and often paralyzing emotion, invariably thrives and expands in the sterile vacuum created by the absence of a deep interconnection. This profound truth has resonated consistently throughout the entire history of your world, a constant thread weaving through every epoch, and it remains exquisitely true for each and every individual sentient being inhabiting it. Where inner light dims, shadows tend to lengthen. When you are actively attuned, truly listening with unwavering presence to the quiet yet persistent whispers of your inner voice, that pure intuition, that innate knowing, that exquisitely refined momentum felt sense of who you authentically are, fear, in all its myriad forms, simply cannot dominate or dictate the landscape of your experience. It may momentarily arise, perhaps as a fleeting, passing vibration, a transient echo from old patterns, but it finds itself utterly incapable of taking deep root or establishing a lasting hold within the fertile ground of your being. Fear, in its very essence, requires your disconnection, a severance from your own intrinsic wisdom. It demands that you intentionally forget, or at least suppress, the awareness of that powerful, unwavering presence nestled deep within you, the presence that so patiently guides your steps, that gently reassures your spirit amidst uncertainty, and that perpetually orientates you toward boundless expansion and authentic growth. Without this disconnection, fear loses its primary leverage. And so, tracing a clear lineage throughout the vast tapestry of human history, the single most effective and consistently deployed strategy for amplifying fear to its most potent levels has been precisely this: to meticulously distract individuals from their own inherent inner clarity. From early childhood, through societal conditioning and educational paradigms, You have been systematically trained to habitually outsource your inquiry, to reflexively ask others what is truly happening in the world, what constitutes genuine safety, what parameters are allowed for your existence, and what boundless possibilities are genuinely open to you. Your internal compass was swapped for external maps. Furthermore, this conditioning extended to an almost unquestioning prioritization of external facts, rigid external rules, and the dominant weight of external opinions, even when these external directives flagrantly contradicted the profound, undeniable truths and intuitive promptings emanating from your own inner felt sense. How many times have you overridden your gut feeling because an expert said otherwise? And as a direct, albeit unintentional, consequence of this pervasive training, many among you inadvertently learned to systematically override and effectively silence the very sophisticated, exquisitely calibrated inner guidance system that would have otherwise served as your unshakable anchor, keeping you steady, resilient, and vibrantly open during even the most tumultuous periods of change and uncertainty. It's like having a perfect internal GPS and choosing to ignore it in favor of outdated paper maps. Rest assured, the gentle yet persistent inner voice, that beacon of your authentic self, never truly disappears, it merely becomes quieter. However, when your precious attention is habitually, almost reflexively, directed outward, endlessly scanning the external environment for cues, threats, or reassurances, the discernible volume of that vital inner voice inevitably seems to fade, becoming a distant whisper against the clamor of the world. This is precisely why fear often feels so overwhelmingly large and consuming in those moments, because tragically, you cannot distinctly hear the one true voice that is perpetually, lovingly guiding you back toward your inherent state of alignment and inner peace. The external noise drowns out the internal wisdom. In such moments of outward focus, you're left with only the loudest, most insistent sounds of the external world, and these sounds are, more often than not, engineered to emphasize pervasive threat, impending scarcity, and relentless urgency. This, in turn, meticulously constructs a self-perpetuating, insidious loop of dependency. The more desperately you gaze outward, seeking solace and assurance from external sources, the more profoundly disoriented and adrift you tend to feel internally, and consequently, the more tragically reliant you become on elaborate systems that, ironically, were never actually designed with your intrinsic well-being, your personal flourishing, or your genuine empowerment at the very core of their intricate architecture. They were built for control, not care. But hey, race, the truly transformative news, all of that, every aspect of that old paradigm is dramatically changing right now. This profound shift is occurring precisely because you, as a collective, are becoming exquisitely more sensitive, a heightened state of awareness that, in its gentle yet powerful awakening, inevitably reactivates and fine-tunes your dormant inner guidance system, bringing it back online with remarkable clarity. It's like turning up the volume on a long-forgotten melody. You can no longer effectively numb your feelings, dulling their edges with the same ease and effectiveness that you once perhaps unconsciously employed. Nor can you, with any lasting success, silence the persistent, knowing whispers of your intuition in the way that earlier generations were often able to do, or were conditioned to do. Your physical bodies, those magnificent vessels of awareness, now respond with remarkable swiftness, sending undeniable signals when something is out of alignment with your core truth. Your emotions, once perhaps suppressible, now surge more strongly, demanding attention when you attempt to ignore your profound inner knowing. In your highly attuned nervous systems, like sophisticated biological sensors, immediately register the stark difference, the vibrational dissonance between the distracting clamor of external noise and the resonant, undeniable clarity of internal truth. This powerful, rising wave of sensitivity that you are experiencing is not, let be absolutely clear, a burden to be endured or a weakness to be overcome. On the contrary, it is your ultimate liberation, a profound emancipation from the oppressive cycles of old dependency loops that once held you captive. It signifies that you are no longer able to effortlessly ignore or comfortably override the profound wisdom conveyed by what you feel, and that, make no mistake, is an extraordinary gift. It means that fear, that insidious vine, will no longer be able to grow unchecked, sprawling relentlessly within the confines of your inner landscape. Why? Because the very moment you begin to disconnect from your authentic self, from your inner clarity, you will feel the undeniable discomfort, the sharp pang of that disconnection, so vividly and so unequivocally that your innate wisdom will naturally, almost instinctively, guide you back to your sacred center, to your inherent state of wholeness and truth. It's an internal alarm system designed for your highest good. As a collective entity, a burgeoning global consciousness, you are presently engaged in the profound, transformative process of learning to once again trust the unerring guidance of your inner voice, to lean into its wisdom without reservation. You are remembering, with a powerful sense of recognition, that true clarity, that luminous, crystalline understanding does not exclusively emanate from intellectual analysis alone, from the dissection of facts and figures, but as you increasingly choose to listen deeply, inwardly, to that subtle inner guidance before automatically reacting, before hastily deciding, before blindly believing, you will witness fear itself begin to unravel, to lose its very structure and foundational integrity. It simply cannot, under any circumstances, sustain its existence, or exert its power in a vibrational field where the radiant inner light of your authentic self is not only acknowledged, but actively prioritized, brought to the forefront of your awareness. This is precisely why so many of you are now experiencing a profound shift, feeling that fear has become noticeably easier to detect, like a faint whisper in the wind rather than a commanding shout easier to understand, its origins and mechanisms becoming transparent and consequently far easier to release, to let go of its constricting grip. Your heightened sensitivity, like a gentle, persistent current, is actively dissolving those ingrained, ancient patterns of thought and emotion, allowing you to reclaim that profound, inherent connection, that intuitive wisdom that was always meant to be your sovereign guide. Indeed, there are these rare, pivotal moments in the grand tapestry of a civilization's evolutionary journey when something utterly unexpected, something truly unprecedented, enters the collective awareness. It's something unfamiliar enough, alien enough, to forcibly interrupt the deeply entrenched habits and automatic responses that have been running ceaselessly, unconsciously, just beneath the surface of daily life. N3I Atlas, as it now emerges into your perception, undeniably represents one of those monumental, game-changing moments for humanity. Its presence, to be clear, is not a looming threat designed to instill dread. Rather, it is a powerful catalyst for awakening, an insistent invitation to perceive beyond the familiar. Its very nature is so fundamentally distinct from the usual elements you're accustomed to monitoring, analyzing, and categorizing your world, be it political shifts, economic trends, or cultural phenomena, that it profoundly disrupts your established interpretive pathways. Imagine a well-worn groove in the mind, a neural shortcut, suddenly finding itself unable to compute. When individuals encounter something that simply cannot be neatly or easily categorized, their external attention inevitably shifts inward. They are compelled to pause, to take a breath, to truly feel what arises within them. And in that crucial, sacred pause, instead of reflexively following a conditioned, pre-programmed response, you become acutely aware of your own authentic internal reactions, observing them with fresh eyes. This profound inability to categorize, this radical novelty, is precisely why 3I Atlas has so powerfully captured the imagination of countless individuals across your planet. It is strikingly new, presenting itself without preamble or precedent. It exists entirely outside the comfortable, familiar narrative structures you've built your understanding upon. It is not, for instance, something that can be neatly folded, or rather, awkwardly crammed, into your existing political frameworks, nor can it be smoothly woven into your cultural storylines or historical contexts. It simply refuses to conform. Because of this inherent nonconformity, this radical uniqueness, it effortlessly bypasses many of the habitual lenses, those ingrained biases, preconceptions, and ideological filters through which you normally interpret your world. You find yourselves unable to instantly classify it, to slot it into your old emotional files or mental archives of past experiences and pre-assigned judgments. And so, precisely because it defies conventional categorization, it reaches deeper, probing gently into those unexamined fears and anxieties lurking in the shadows of your collective unconscious and simultaneously touching the unspoken hopes, the profound aspirations for unity and truth that live just beneath the surface of your conscious awareness. That pivotal moment of interruption, that sudden, necessary break from the mental autopilot mode, is arguably one of the most potent and transformative tools available for profound awakening. It generously offers you a precious window, a moment to truly ask yourselves, with genuine curiosity, what am I actually feeling right now? Rather than merely defaulting to what you were taught, conditioned, or expected to feel by external influences. Crucially, no authority structure on your planet, no government, no reigning ideology, no specific agenda can rightfully claim ownership of 3I Atlas. It transcends human constructs. It is not a symbol created by human hands, imbued with specific engineered meanings, and thus it cannot be easily co-opted, hijacked, or manipulated by those who have traditionally specialized in shaping narratives to generate either widespread fear or blind compliance. Its very being resists such attempts at control. This inherent lack of ownership, this profound neutrality, liberates individuals, allowing them to have their own direct, unfiltered, energetic experience of 3I Atlas, completely unburdened by the filter of institutional interpretation or pre-packaged explanations. Some will undoubtedly feel a deep, resonant curiosity and eagerness to understand. Others might experience a profound sense of recognition, an intuitive knowing as if they've encountered this truth before. Still others may feel a degree of discomfort as familiar paradigms are challenged. But what is vital is that all of these diverse reactions are deeply personal, immediate, and utterly unmediated by external influence. Such an unmediated experience is exceedingly rare for humanity in its current state. You are, by and large, accustomed to having your experiences shaped, predigested, and even subtly manipulated before you even fully have them through the pervasive influence of media, the structured narratives of education, and the often filtered accounts of history. 3i Atlas heroically breaks that ingrained pattern simply by existing in a unique space, a void where no single pre-written story, no convenient explanation, feels entirely satisfying or comprehensive enough to contain its truth. The Council of Five, from their expansive perspective, perceives this as a collective pause moment for humanity, a critical juncture where you're granted an unparalleled opportunity to observe yourselves, your inner workings, with greater honesty and clarity than ever before. When confronted with something you don't immediately know how to interpret, something that defies easy explanation, the raw truth of your inner state, unadorned and unvarnished, is vividly revealed. In this revealing light, you can clearly discern where residual fear still hides, lurking in the shadows of your consciousness where nascent trust is courageously growing, pushing through old anxieties where genuine curiosity is blossoming, opening new pathways of inquiry, and where the persistent tug of old narratives, those ingrained stories of scarcity and separation, still attempts to pull on your emotional strings. This, then, is your unparalleled chance to truly meet yourselves anew, to reintroduce yourselves to your own authentic being without the weight of past conditioning. It is a powerful moment where the seemingly unfamiliar, the unknown, paradoxically becomes the most direct and potent doorway to deeper self-inquiry, inviting you to explore the vast landscapes within. And as more and more of you courageously allow yourselves to truly feel what arises, rather than immediately reacting to genuinely sense the energetic truth, rather than merely assuming based on past data, you collectively begin to ascend, moving into a higher dimension of conscious creation. As your collective vibration steadily rises, those old narratives, the stories of division, fear, and powerlessness that once held tremendous, almost hypnotic influence over your thoughts and emotions now begin to feel strangely hollow, like empty vessels. They become markedly less convincing, their persuasive power diminished, and far less capable of drawing you back into those worn-out, self-perpetuating cycles of fear and anxiety. This is not occurring because those pervasive narratives have somehow become quieter or less prevalent. Quite the contrary. In many instances, various institutions are speaking even louder, broadcasting their messages with a heightened, almost desperate urgency. Nor is this shift happening because the world has miraculously become more peaceful overnight, or because all challenges and difficulties have conveniently disappeared. No, the profound shift you're experiencing is happening primarily because you have shifted internally. Your individual and collective vibration has subtly but significantly moved beyond the energetic range, the specific frequency in which fear-based messaging can easily anchor itself, can grab hold and resonate within you. It's like tuning out a static-filled radio station. The noise is still there, but you're no longer receiving it. When your inner being expands, unfolding like a blossoming flower when your heart opens wider, embracing more compassion and understanding when your inherent sensitivity becomes more finely tuned and active. You naturally, almost effortlessly, begin to perceive that certain explanations, certain stories, simply do not resonate with your deepest truth anymore. They no longer feel true. They lack an authentic ring. They simply do not feel aligned with your evolving internal reality, your core knowing. And even when these explanations may appeal to the rational mind, appearing logically sound, or even when they seem to perfectly match established patterns from the past, something profound deep within you, your intuition, your soul's wisdom recognizes with unwavering certainty that they are built upon a foundation of assumptions, old paradigms, and limited perspectives that simply no longer correspond to your expanding internal experience of reality. There is a fundamental disconnect. This growing mismatch, this profound divergence between the external narratives and your inner truth is becoming palpably more obvious to an increasing number of people each passing day. You can observe its subtle yet powerful emergence in everyday conversations, noticing how people engage differently in the nuanced dynamics of social interactions and the way individuals now instinctively question the news, dissecting narratives rather than passively consuming them, and perhaps most strikingly, in the way intuition now rises up quickly, almost as an immediate energetic counterresponse, to challenge and disarm a fear-based narrative. You are actively learning to sense, to intuitively perceive the vibrational quality and energetic signature of information itself, rather than focusing solely and exclusively on the literal content of the words being spoken. You can now distinctly feel when a message carries distortion, a subtle twisting of truth when it promotes contraction, a tightening or closing down of energy within you, or when it emanates disconnection, fostering separation rather than unity. And precisely because you are becoming so much more acutely aware of vibration off the energetic underpinning of all things, those fear-based explanations, once so potent and persuasive, no longer possess the same magnetic pull, the same irresistible allure they once wielded. Their charm has simply dissolved. This profound, internal shift is actively eroding the very effectiveness of those long-established systems, be they political, economic, or social, that historically relied almost exclusively on the cultivation of fear to maintain their influence and control. Institutions that once confidently expected predictable emotional reactions, panic, outrage, blind obedience, are now encountering something entirely different, people responding with thoughtful curiosity, with discerning skepticism, or with a grounded, calm neutrality instead of the anticipated, easily manipulated panic. This is, without exaggeration, a truly profound and pivotal moment in the ongoing journey of human evolution. You're not just thinking differently, you are beginning to deeply discern the energetic truth, the vibrational reality behind everything that is presented to you. And this nascent, rapidly developing skill, this new superpower, changes absolutely everything. It effectively renders you immune, like a spiritual vaccine, to many of the fear tactics, the manipulative strategies that previously shaped and dictated collective decisions, often against your highest good. It makes you exponentially more available to the gentle yet potent wisdom of your inner guidance, and consequently, far less susceptible to the insidious pressures of outer manipulation and external influence. Moreover, and perhaps most excitingly, It actively prepares you for the next grand stage of your collective expansion, a phase where you will consciously, intentionally create your reality from a place of profound clarity, unwavering truth, and authentic connection, rather than from a reactive, fear-driven state. It is no cosmic coincidence that 3I Atlas enters your collective awareness at this exact, divinely orchestrated moment, precisely when humanity is actively developing and refining this crucial discernment. Its presence offers you an unparalleled chance to practice this vital skill, distinguishing, with increasing accuracy, between what genuinely resonates vibrationally with your soul's truth and what is merely a conditioned response stemming from old, programmed fear. As you allow yourselves to deeply feel into its unique presence, its inherent neutrality, its perfect timing in this evolutionary phase, and the subtle invitations it extends to new ways of perceiving, you may intuitively sense, with an undeniable clarity, that it aligns far more profoundly with the process of awakening and expansion than with any notion of threat. This powerful, personal recognition of its true nature not only strengthens your innate ability to interpret all of reality vibrationally, but also serves as a poignant reminder, a clear mirror, helping you realize just how incredibly far you have come on this remarkable journey of self-discovery and collective evolution. The old narratives, those worn-out stories of limitation and fear, are inexorably losing their once unshakable grip, precisely because they simply cannot reach, cannot penetrate the expansive, vibrant parts of you that are now wide awake and resonating on a higher frequency. Fear once was undoubtedly one of the most predictable and effective tools readily available to those who sought, through various means, to guide, to shape, or to subtly control collective behavior. When humanity was once presented with a truly frightening scenario, perhaps a looming crisis or an existential threat, one could almost perfectly anticipate the ensuing emotional reaction. The predictable wave of fear would sweep through the populace, dictating the decisions that would inevitably follow, shaping the alliances that would form amongst nations or communities, and triggering a cascade of instinctive, often primitive behaviors. Indeed, in those times, fear itself acted as a kind of psychological gravity, an invisible yet immensely powerful force. It inexorably drew people into ingrained patterns of mere survival, a frantic urgency that often clouded judgment, and a profound dependence on perceived authorities or established structures. Entire complex systems, from media narratives to political strategies and even economic models, were meticulously built around this very predictability. These were systems that fundamentally assumed a simple equation: if fear was effectively activated, then certain predetermined outcomes would unfailingly and automatically unfold. However, a profound shift is underway. You are undeniably living within an entirely different energetic landscape now, one vibrant with new possibilities. Your inherent awareness has not merely grown, it has actively expanded its horizons, reaching into previously unperceived realms. Your emotional intelligence, once perhaps nascent, has matured significantly, evolving into a sophisticated inner compass. Consequently, you have become far more conscious, more intimately attuned to your own intricate internal processes, the subtle whispers of your thoughts, the fleeting sensations in your body, the underlying currents of your emotions. And because of this monumental internal recalibration, fear can no longer be wielded in the same rudimentary way. What once reliably created an automatic, knee-jerk response now invariably sparks introspection, prompting a deeper self-inquiry. What once inevitably triggered a wave of unthinking panic, forcing rapid, often regrettable actions, now initiates a thoughtful, deliberate reflection. Instead of being swept away, you find yourself pausing, examining, and truly understanding. Many of you now possess the remarkable capacity to notice fear precisely as it arises within your being, rather than instinctively identifying with it. You can distinctly feel the tightening tension in your bodies, perhaps a knot in your stomach or a shallowing of your breath. You can observe, with a newfound detachment, the dramatic stories and catastrophic narratives that your mind attempts to weave. Crucially, you can then consciously choose how to respond, rather than merely reacting unconsciously like a puppet on strings. This is a profound liberation. This elevated level of awareness is not merely a personal triumph. It fundamentally breaks the old, entrenched cycle of fear-driven existence. Fear simply cannot dictate your behavior when you are watching it with a conscious, unblinking presence, when you hold it in the light of your awareness instead of letting it consume you. It's like a flickering shadow that loses its power once illuminated. This inherent unpredictability, born from your conscious choice, gradually but inevitably dissolves the power that institutions once held so firmly. When the activation of fear no longer guarantees a specific, desired outcome, when its coercive grip loosens, it instantly transforms into an unreliable, even impotent tool. And as fear itself becomes progressively unreliable, the vast, intricate systems that were so carefully constructed upon its foundations begin, quite literally, to weaken, to crack, and eventually to crumble. We do not merely observe this shift, we celebrate this profound transformation because it vividly represents humanity becoming truly unshakable, not from external fortifications, but from the inside out. You are no longer helplessly controlled by external triggers, those carefully crafted fear-mongering headlines or dire pronouncements. Instead, you are now powerfully guided by an unwavering internal alignment, an inner compass calibrated to your deepest truth. You are actively learning a vital lesson: true stability does not emanate from possessing all the answers, nor from an anxious attempt to perfectly predict every twist and turn of the future. No, genuine stability blossoms from knowing deeply and authentically who you are in each unfolding moment, and from trusting implicitly that your intrinsic connection to your true self is infinitely stronger, more resilient, and more enduring than anything that might appear to threaten you from the outside. Fear may still, on occasion, arise within your experience, for it is a natural human emotion, but it absolutely does not rule you. It no longer casts a long, suffocating shadow over your inherent intuition or clouds the crystal-clear waters of your inner clarity. It simply passes through, observed but not obeyed. This monumental transformation is far from theoretical. It is a tangible reality unfolding right now. It is manifesting in the very fibers of your nervous systems, reorganizing your physiological responses. It is occurring within your emotional bodies, enabling deeper processing and understanding. And profoundly, it is radiating outwards, impacting your collective energetic field, subtly yet powerfully altering the very fabric of human interaction. The collapse of fear as a controlling tool marks not an end, but the glorious beginning of a new kind of collective power, one rooted deeply in expansive awareness, expressed through unwavering authenticity and fortified by an unshakable inner steadiness. And as fear continues to lose its ancient, binding grip, the magnificent world you are actively creating will powerfully reflect your newfound freedom, shining with an unconstrained brilliance. Indeed, one of the most significant and exhilarating changes happening within humanity right now is the profound upgrade of your intrinsic energy systems. Many of you are experiencing a heightened intuition, more potent and precise than ever before. You are sensing subtle nuances, receiving insights, and picking up on phenomena that you simply cannot explain through conventional logic. You are discerning the intricate, subtle emotional currents weaving through conversations, feeling the underlying truth even when words contradict it. You are experiencing palpable energetic shifts within your very bodies, sometimes even before significant events physically manifest in your outer world. Let it be unequivocally clear this is not mere imagination, nor is it wishful thinking. This is bona fide, undeniable evolution, a leap in human capability. Your entire species is rapidly developing a higher, more refined level of perceptual awareness. Old survival instincts, those primal, knee-jerk fight-or-flight responses designed for a harsher, more primitive existence, are now being gracefully replaced by a far more sophisticated and nuanced form of perception-based intelligence. Instead of instinctually scanning your immediate environment solely for threats, diligently searching for danger, you are now beginning to sense the underlying frequency, the energetic signature of situations, of people, and of possibilities themselves. This profound shift liberates you, enabling you to respond to life's myriad complexities in a far more nuanced, empowered, and truly creative way, moving beyond reactive survival. You're no longer limited to merely interpreting physical cues, body language, facial expressions, tone of voice. Instead, you are consciously tuning into a richer, deeper stratum of information, pure, energetic data. This transformative shift inherently makes fear far less dominant, less imposing, because you are no longer utterly reliant on antiquated, fear-based mechanisms to ensure your safety and well-being. You have been gifted with, or rather have activated, powerful new tools, internal, subtle, vibrational tools that guide you with an accuracy and wisdom that fear, in its blunt and limiting nature, could never possibly achieve. As this energetic upgrade continues to unfold and deepen within you, you will discover an astonishing capacity. You can perceive the intricate layers beneath the surface of events. You can instinctively feel when a message is distorted, tainted by hidden agendas, or when it resonates with pure, unadulterated alignment and truth. You can sense with startling clarity when someone is speaking from a place of deep-seated fear or from their authentic, unshakable truth. You can even discern when a situation is inherently expanding, growing, and thriving, or contracting, diminishing, and stagnating, even before you have the precise words to articulate why. This profound deepening of perception is not simply incidental. It is a fundamental part of your ongoing spiritual and evolutionary awakening, a testament to your burgeoning consciousness. Earlier in your collective history, fear held a pervasive, almost dictatorial, ability to override your inherent clarity, primarily because your nervous systems were exquisitely tuned, above all else, to the imperative of basic survival. But that is definitively no longer the case. Your clarity is not just growing, it is becoming demonstrably stronger, more piercing than your fear. Your intuition, once a quiet whisper, is becoming a resonant, undeniable voice, louder than any external noise or doubt around you, and your awareness is anchoring itself, growing ever more stable and unwavering with each passing day. This is precisely why many of you now feel an undeniable, almost visceral sense that you simply cannot return to the old ways of living, to the old, limiting ways of interpreting reality. You have, quite literally, evolved beyond them. There's no going back to that smaller, more restricted paradigm. You are now perceiving life through an entirely new lens, one that naturally reveals more of what is intrinsically true, what resonates with authenticity, and mercifully less of what is merely conditioned, programmed, or illusory. This is a lens that cuts through the noise and reveals the essence. This profound upgrade makes you not only more resilient in the face of challenges, but also more deeply connected to yourselves and to others, and inherently more capable of skillfully navigating the monumental changes that lie ahead. Fear no longer holds the ultimate, final word in your experience. Your clear, unclouded awareness does. There are truly momentous occasions in a civilization's awakening when an external, observable phenomenon aligns with breathtaking perfection with the internal, often unseen, evolution of the collective consciousness. And 3i Atlas is, without question, one of those profoundly significant moments. Its timing is not random chance, it is divinely precise. Its trajectory through your cosmos is not accidental, it is purposefully orchestrated. And its dramatic presence within your collective awareness perfectly coincides with a crucial vibrational readiness that has been steadily building, accumulating within Earth's energetic field for decades, quietly anticipating this moment. We want you to grasp the magnitude of this. Many advanced civilizations across your vast galaxy have recognized the arrival of 3i Atlas as a synchronized indicator, a powerful cosmic sign. It signals that humanity has indeed reached a remarkable level of coherence, a vibrant curiosity, and a refined sensitivity that collectively permits you to engage with the grand tapestry of cosmic energies in a far more conscious, deliberate, and enlightened way than ever before. This celestial object, therefore, is being observed not as a potential threat, not as an ominous harbinger, but as an undeniable milestone, a celebratory marker of progress. It communicates clearly to higher dimensional civilizations that Earth, and by extension, humanity, is now fully capable of integrating more profound contact, more meaningful communication, and a deeper recognition of your rightful, significant place within a much larger, interconnected galactic environment. You have already, through your diligent inner work, expanded your vibrational frequency sufficiently to sense more, to feel more, and to receive more profound cosmic input. You have actively opened yourselves to these higher energies through dedicated meditation, through courageous emotional processing and release, through profound collective connection and shared understanding, through the relentless pursuit of truth, even when it challenged comfort, and most importantly, through your unwavering willingness to bravely question the narratives that were once blindly accepted and left unquestioned. These profound internal shifts, these individual and collective awakenings, are precisely what create the vibrational conditions necessary for an increased, more expansive cosmic awareness to flourish. You are actively learning to perceive reality far beyond its purely physical manifestations. And this vital skill prepares you for a much greater, more intimate integration with advanced beings who consciously live and operate multidimensionally. Therefore, 3I Atlas merely reflects this inherent readiness within you. It is not a catalyst that forcibly imposes awakening upon an unprepared world. Rather, it arrives because awakening is already happening, already blossoming from within. And so, when you gaze upon it, when you contemplate its profound significance, you are in the deepest sense really contemplating the incredible, transformed beings that you have already courageously become. We wish to reiterate that 3I Atlas is a beacon, a marker of cosmic progress, not a warning of impending doom. It is absolutely not here to generate fear, nor to disrupt the delicate balance of your evolving planet, but rather to signify an era of unprecedented connection and expanded consciousness. Is it here, then, as a stark harbinger of impending danger, a terrifying sign of societal collapse, or perhaps even a direct manifestation of divine punishment? Quite the contrary. It reveals itself as a subtle, yet profound, vibrational echo of your own unfolding expansion, a resonant frequency mirroring the growth already stirring within you. However, the precise meaning it takes on for you, the specific sensations it evokes, the particular stories it ignites within your consciousness, these aspects hinge entirely upon the fundamental state of being you currently inhabit. If your heart and mind are clenched in the grip of fear, you might easily interpret its presence as an ominous harbinger of destruction, perhaps picturing scenarios of global catastrophe or personal ruin. Yet, if you approach it from a posture of genuine openness, allowing curiosity to take root, you may instead perceive it as a tangible sign of profound connection, an invitation to unity. Should you be holding a vibrant sense of curiosity rather than apprehension, you might readily embrace it as an explicit invitation, a beckoning to explore uncharted territories of understanding. And for those who stand in a state of readiness, poised for the next phase of their journey, its arrival could well be sensed as a powerful confirmation, an affirmation of their inner knowing. This inherent subjectivity is precisely why no singular, universal message will ever be broadcast regarding its ultimate purpose or definitive meaning. The encounter with 3I Atlas is, by its very nature, deeply personal. Each individual will engage with it, meeting its energy and presence, in direct accordance with the unique vibrational frequency they currently occupy. This profound meeting, therefore, transcends a mere observation. It transforms into an unparalleled opportunity for you to embark on a journey of self-observation. It allows you to witness, in real time, the intricate ways in which your deeply ingrained perception filters, those unseen lenses shaped by your past experiences and beliefs, actively sculpt your interpretation of significant events unfolding around you. You, and only you, ultimately determine whether this encounter expands the horizons of your awareness, stretching your consciousness into new realms of possibility, or whether, conversely, it contracts it, pulling you back into familiar patterns of limitation. You are the arbiter of whether it anchors more fear, solidifying old anxieties, or whether it grounds you more deeply into a state of present moment awareness, radiating calm and clarity. And precisely because so many among you are now honing your capacities to tune in vibrationally, to intuitively sense and respond from a place of higher alignment, rather than merely reacting from old, conditioned impulses, 3 Atlas steps forward as an exquisite mirror. It serves to impeccably reflect your internal alignment, or lack thereof. This explains why the revered Council of Five, along with other interconnected galactic councils, are not focusing their meticulous attention on the object itself, on its material composition, or its precise trajectory. No, their watchful gaze is intently fixed upon humanity's collective emotional resonance around it, on how humanity interprets its very existence, and crucially, on how humanity chooses to utilize it as a profound touchpoint for your collective awakening. The unknown, that vast expanse of the yet to be understood, stands as one of the most ancient and potent triggers of fear embedded deep within the human collective consciousness. For countless generations, humanity has been meticulously conditioned through cultural narratives, parental warnings, and societal norms to instinctively associate uncertainty with impending danger. From childhood, you were taught, explicitly and implicitly, to brace yourself for the worst possible outcomes, to assume an inherent threat lurking in every shadow, to anxiously anticipate loss or chaos whenever you encountered something unfamiliar, something that defied immediate categorization or explanation. This pervasive conditioning is not a recent phenomenon. It is woven deeply, almost inextricably, into the very fabric of human history. Early civilizations, after all, quite literally depended on a heightened state of vigilance for their sheer physical survival. To step into the unknown without caution could mean encountering a predator, a hostile tribe, or an insurmountable environmental challenge. However, as society incrementally evolved, growing in complexity and safety, that instinctive, primal fear of the unknown was unthinkingly carried forward, perpetuated long after it ceased to be necessary in quite the same critical, life-or-death manner. It was systematically reinforced, not by immediate peril, but by compelling stories passed down through oral traditions and written texts, by rigid institutions that thrived on control, by prevailing cultural narratives that celebrated predictability, and, perhaps most powerfully, by the deeply held, yet often flawed, belief that absolute control inevitably equates to absolute safety. We observe that many of you, even in this enlightened age, still carry this reflexive response, this knee-jerk reaction, when any new, unscripted event unfurls itself. Whether it manifests as a sudden, unsettling shift in your personal life, a job loss, a relationship ending, a health challenge, or a sweeping political change that rattles the foundations of your society, a groundbreaking technological development that reshapes your world, or indeed, the arrival of an enigmatic cosmic visitor like 3 Atlas, that ancient pattern of fear immediately surges to the surface. Your physical bodies may involuntarily tense, muscles tightening as if preparing for impact. Your minds may frantically seek out worst-case scenarios, constructing elaborate narratives of potential threat. You might even find yourselves instinctively looking to external authority figures, scientists, politicians, spiritual leaders, pleading for them to interpret the meaning for you, to provide the comforting certainty your conditioned mind craves. All of this, every single facet of this reaction, stems from a deeply ingrained, yet often unquestioned, assumption that the unknown is inherently unstable, unpredictable, and therefore dangerous. But consider this in the luminous, expansive, higher dimensional realms. The unknown is not something to be feared, quite the contrary. It is joyously celebrated. It is understood not as an abyss of chaos, but as the boundless space where absolutely everything becomes possible. It is perceived as the pure, vibrant field of creation before it has coalesced into definable form, the unblemished, blank canvas upon which entirely new, breathtaking realities are exquisitely painted. We now extend a profound invitation for you to consciously reframe your perception of uncertainty, to begin seeing it not as a source of anxiety, but as an inexhaustible reservoir of pure potential. You are at this very moment living in an unprecedented era where the venerable old structures, the paradigms, the systems, the beliefs that have long governed your world are gracefully, yet irrevocably dissolving, crumbling to make way for something entirely new. Simultaneously, the blueprint for what is to come, the new reality, has not yet fully taken its definitive shape. That sacred gap, that liminal, in-between space, is precisely where your greatest empowerment truly resides. It is within this very crucible of uncertainty that your intuitive faculties become sharpened and amplified, cutting through the static of conditioning. It is here that your innate creativity flows with an unhindered, effervescent vitality, unconstrained by rigid expectations. And it is in this open, receptive space that higher dimensional guidance, whispering wisdom from beyond your immediate perception, can reach you with unparalleled ease and clarity. When you make the conscious, deliberate choice to view the unknown through the illuminating lens of potential, rather than through the constricting filter of threat, you quite literally begin to rewrite the oldest, most deeply etched layer of collective fear embedded within humanity's psyche. And 3I Atlas is, in its silent, profound way, assisting you in doing exactly this. It presents itself, quite unequivocally, as an unknown without any immediate, definitive explanation, devoid of a predetermined narrative that tells you what to believe, and without a fixed, singular meaning imposed upon it. And it is precisely within that vast, expansive openness that you are gifted an unparalleled opportunity, the chance to dispassionately observe how your own mind and body genuinely respond. If a flicker of fear arises, you have the profound choice to meet it gently, to acknowledge its presence without judgment or reaction, rather than fighting against it. If a surge of curiosity bubbles up, you are free to follow its gentle pull, allowing it to guide your exploration. And if a sense of serene neutrality settles within you, you can simply rest in that peaceful equilibrium, allowing the moment to unfold without demanding a conclusion. 3I Atlas, therefore, offers humanity a shared, collective moment, an extraordinary opportunity to consciously reprogram this ancient, automatic reflex of associating the unknown with danger. By encountering an unknown entity that demonstrably does not harm you, that does not impose any demands upon you, and that does not, in any discernible way, threaten your very survival, you're actively forging new neural pathways within your brains and creating novel energetic pathways within your being. You are beginning, step by gentle step, to associate the unknown not with fear, but with the thrilling prospect of discovery, with the exhilarating promise of expansion, and with the boundless realm of possibility. And this, truly, represents one of the most profound and pivotal steps humanity can collectively take as you embark upon the exciting journey of entering a more multidimensional version of yourselves, shedding the constraints of a purely physical existence. Now, let us turn our attention to the second deeply entrenched layer of humanity's fear of fear, so pervasive and influential that it has in many ways shaped your entire planetary narrative and colored your perception of the cosmos, the profound and deeply ingrained fear of extraterrestrial life. This particular fear was not an organic development, a natural outgrowth of experience. Oh no, this fear was meticulously and intentionally reinforced generation after generation through a relentless barrage of carefully crafted stories, narratives of terrifying invasion, of chilling abduction, of devastating interstellar war, and of ruthless domination by alien entities. These narratives were never spontaneous expressions of human imagination. They were, instead, deliberately planted, systematically repeated, dramatically exaggerated, and relentlessly magnified across all forms of media and storytelling, with the explicit purpose of keeping humanity psychologically and vibrationally isolated. Consider the insidious logic if you are conditioned to believe, with unwavering conviction, that the vast universe beyond your planet is inherently hostile, a cold and dangerous place. Then you will, logically, never dare to reach out. If you harbor a deep-seated, paralyzing fear of other civilizations, perceiving them all as potential threats, then you will, without fail, keep your hearts and minds firmly closed to the possibility of contact, never opening yourselves to genuine connection. And if you operate from the fundamental assumption that any difference in form, culture, or origin automatically equates to danger, then you will tragically fail to recognize, let alone embrace, your true cosmic family, those myriad forms of consciousness that share this magnificent universe with you. This cultivated fear was remarkably effective for a remarkably long time, precisely because it cunningly exploited and built upon the first foundational layer of fear we discussed, the primal fear of the unknown. It took the abstract concept of unknown and gave it a terrifyingly specific face, the alien. But we implore you to understand this fundamental truth: fearing extraterrestrial life has never, not for a single moment, been aligned with your true, authentic nature. Humanity, at its core, is inherently curious, driven by an insatiable desire to explore and understand. Humanity is inherently exploratory, compelled to venture beyond known boundaries, to discover what lies over the next horizon. And most profoundly, humanity is inherently relational, wired for connection, for community, for shared experience. The deeply unsettling idea that you must perpetually defend yourselves against the entire universe, that you must maintain a vigilant guard against all cosmic possibilities, is not a natural human instinct. It is unequivocally a conditioned reaction, a learned behavior impressed upon you by millennia of fear-based narratives. Contrast this with the grand truth across your vast and ancient galaxy. Civilizations do not wage perpetual war. Instead, they collaborate. They engage in magnificent exchanges of knowledge, sharing insights gleaned from countless eons of evolution. They exchange energy, not in conflict, but in synergistic flows that empower all. They share frequencies, creating a harmonious symphony of consciousness. They evolve together, a vast, interconnected tapestry of life, learning and growing in unison. The universe, beloved humans, is a cooperative ecosystem, a living, breathing symphony of interconnectedness, not a gladiatorial, adversarial battlefield. And it is here that 3I Atlas steps in, with its quiet yet powerful presence, gently nudging humanity back toward this profound truth. Its very presence serves as a cosmic reminder that you are an integral part of something infinitely larger than your individual selves, larger than your planet. It dispels the illusion that you are solitary beings, isolated and vulnerable, floating precariously on a lonely planet adrift in an empty void. Instead, it powerfully affirms that you are, in fact, surrounded by an astonishing diversity of consciousness, manifesting in countless forms, all part of the same grand, unfolding cosmic design. As you observe its enigmatic form, as you allow yourselves to truly feel into its energetic signature, you may sense, with an undeniable inner knowing, that it fundamentally does not match the fear-based stories you were so assiduously taught. It does not resonate with, nor does it evoke, the dense, heavy energy of danger or overt hostility that those narratives tried to instill. Instead, its presence evokes a profound sense of neutrality, an expansive curiosity, and a subtle, yet deeply resonant recognition. Indeed, many humans report feeling an unexpected, almost surprising calm when they simply contemplate 3I Atlas, and this is not because its presence is ordinary or mundane. Quite the opposite. It is because it resonates deeply with something ancient, something primordial, stirring within your very being. It actively activates a long-dormant memory of belonging, a profound recollection of your participation in a vast cosmic community, a reawakening to the truth of having profound relationships that extend far beyond the confines of Earth. We celebrate this burgeoning shift, this profound internal response, once again because it acts as an undeniable signal that humanity is now truly ready, poised on the brink of dissolving this second, deeply entrenched layer of fear. You are ready to transcend the old narratives, ready to see extraterrestrial life not as an existential threat, but rather as a glorious reflection of your own boundless potential, a mirror to what you, too, can become. You are ready to meet the galaxy, not as timid bystanders gazing from the sidelines, but as active, vital participants, eager to engage. And you are ready to bravely step into a future where genuine connection seamlessly replaces the pervasive emptiness of isolation, and where an innate sense of wonder, a boundless curiosity, effortlessly supplants the chilling grip of fear. Delving into the very core of human experience, we discover that the deepest, most entrenched layer of fear within humanity is not the shadowy specter of the unknown, nor the tantalizing dread of potential extraterrestrial life, nor even the formidable apprehension of external forces that seem to loom large in our collective consciousness. No, peeling back these surface anxieties, we uncover a truth far more profound, far more personal. It is unequivocally the profound fear of your own inherent power. For countless generations, stretching back through the annals of history, you, as individuals and as a collective, were systematically conditioned to internalize the belief that you were inherently small, inherently fragile, and utterly dependent on structures, systems, and authorities outside yourself for guidance, validation, and even your very existence. You were painstakingly taught through overt lessons and subtle societal cues alike that your thoughts were ultimately insignificant, mere whispers in the wind that your emotions were irrelevant, fleeting disturbances to be suppressed or ignored, that your intuition, that quiet, knowing voice within, was unreliable, a treacherous guide, and that your creative abilities were severely limited, confined to narrow, predefined boundaries. This pervasive conditioning, you see, was meticulously designed and served a very specific strategic purpose. If you are perpetually consumed by the fear of your own astonishing ability to consciously create and shape your reality, then it becomes entirely natural, almost an automatic reflex, to instinctively seek out established systems, charismatic leaders, and external authorities to dictate your direction, to chart your course, and to guarantee your perceived safety. In this state, you will, with surprising alacrity, hand over your precious sovereignty, that inherent right to self-governance and self-determination, willingly, almost eagerly. You will do so in the comforting, albeit illusory, belief that someone else, anyone else, must surely know better, that someone else must possess the definitive answers you lack, that someone else must bear the weighty responsibility for shaping the complex tapestry of the world. This deeply ingrained belief then morphs into a powerful illusion, making it appear undeniably safer, far less daunting, to be passively guided, like a ship with its sails furled, than to actively navigate and steer your own magnificent vessel. It feels immeasurably easier in the short term to simply follow prescribed instructions and adhere to external directives than to cultivate the trust required to truly listen to and act upon your own inner voice, that quiet, constant compass within. But herein lies the great cosmic irony, this very fear, this deep-seated apprehension of your own boundless powers. In fact, the most colossal, most elaborate, and most enduring illusion humanity has ever collectively lived under, a grand deception woven into the very fabric of perceived reality. We wish for you to grasp, with every fiber of your being, that this intricate illusion is now, at this very moment, dissolving and unraveling at an unprecedented, rapid pace, like a thick fog finally lifting to reveal the sun. You are, individually and collectively, beginning to awaken to a profound truth that the rich tapestry of experiences you effortlessly attract into your life, the intricate web of relationships you organically build, the serendipitous opportunities you invariably notice, and the profound meaning you consciously assign to every event are all, without exception, direct and undeniable reflections of your own internal state, the inner landscape of your consciousness. You are, with growing clarity, beginning to recognize that genuine creation, the very act of bringing something into being, does not originate from external circumstances or outward forces. No, it begins always within you through the subtle yet powerful vibrations you consistently emit, the conscious choices you deliberately make, the fundamental beliefs you deeply hold, and your unwavering willingness to align with the magnificent, authentic essence of who you truly are, beyond all conditioning and external expectations. It is precisely this burgeoning recognition that 3I Atlas, a celestial visitor of unparalleled significance, actively amplifies and brings into sharper focus. As you collectively bear witness to this cosmic Visitoran object of profound mystery that unequivocally cannot be controlled, owned, or definitively defined by any human institution, scientific paradigm, or political agenda, you are simultaneously and powerfully reminded of that identical, immutable truth residing deep within yourselves. You, much like this untamed cosmic object, are emphatically not determined, limited, or constrained by the prevailing external narratives that seek to define you. You, just like this enigmatic object, carry within you an intrinsic trajectory, a unique life path that is dynamically shaped by your own energetic blueprint, an intricate, personal vibrational signature. And you, astonishingly, like this object whose very existence challenges conventional understanding, possess the inherent capacity to disrupt entrenched old patterns, to shatter outdated paradigms, simply by vibrating authentically, by existing fully and purely as your true self in the world. When you allow yourself to truly feel the subtle, yet persistent call of three, I atlas its profound neutrality, its unwavering presence, its perfectly orchestrated timing, you may experience an undeniable sense that it mirrors, with crystalline precision, your own burgeoning, awakening power. You may sense something stirring deeply within your being, perhaps a long-forgotten memory resurfacing, or a deep, intuitive inner knowing awakening, confirming that you possess infinitely more influence, far greater creative agency over your own experience than you were ever, in any lifetime, taught or led to believe. This profound recognition, this awakening to your innate power, can admittedly feel unsettling, even disorienting at first. Why? Because truly stepping into your own power inexorably means courageously stepping out of the perceived comfort zone of dependency, leaving behind the familiar, yet limiting crutches of external validation and reliance. But with this initial discomfort, it also unfailingly brings forth a profound, unshakable sense of freedoma liberation that washes over you like a tide, cleansing away years of imposed limitations. As you consciously allow this liberating truth to fully integrate into your mind, body, and spirit, the ingrained fear of your own immense power gradually, gracefully dissolves, like a mirage disappearing in the desert heat. In its place, it reveals an even deeper, more glorious truth. Your power has, in reality, never been dangerous, never been something to be feared or contained. On the contrary, your power is intrinsically creative, endlessly loving, harmoniously integrative, and perfectly aligned with your absolute highest expression, your most magnificent, authentic self. And now, with humanity undeniably awakening collectively, rising in unison like a chorus, the age-old, insidious illusion of disempowerment can no longer, under any circumstances, sustain itself. Its fragile foundations are crumbling. Let us be clear, fear is not some formidable enemy you need to resist with all your might, nor something you must ruthlessly suppress, nor a foe you are fated to battle endlessly. In fact, resistance itself is the very mechanism, the invisible fuel that paradoxically keeps fear alive, vibrant, and powerful within your experience. When you vigorously push against fear, when you desperately try to deny its presence, when you erroneously treat it as an adversary to be conquered, you inadvertently give it solid structure, you lend it sharp focus, and you imbue it with undeniable meaning and potency. However, consider this perspective: fear itself is simply a transient vibration, an energetic frequency, passing momentarily through your energetic field of vibration that is more often than not deeply rooted in outdated, inherited conditioning rather than in the clear, undeniable truth of the present moment. It is a ghost of the past, not a reality of the now. We now extend a heartfelt invitation for you to engage with fear in an entirely different manner than you were ever taught in your upbringing or by societal norms. Instead of instinctively reacting with panic or aversion when fear arises, simply observe it, like a curious scientist watching a phenomenon. Instead of immediately judging it as bad or wrong, simply allow its presence, giving it space without attachment. When fear surfaces, you can, with profound compassion, sit with it in precisely the same way you would sit with a frightened child who has stumbled and scraped their knee. You would not, under any circumstances, force the child to abruptly stop crying or deny their pain. You certainly would not escalate the situation by matching their panic or mirroring their distress. No, what you would do is hold a calm, reassuring space for them. You would breathe deeply, steadily. You would allow their energy, their emotion, to move through them naturally, offering comfort and presence, without absorbing their fear or identifying with it as your own. When you consciously apply this very same, tender approach to your own fear, something truly remarkable, truly transformative begins to unfold. The overwhelming intensity of the emotion gently dissolves, like sugar in warm water. The gripping narrative, the story that fear weaves about potential danger or inadequacy, gradually loosens its hold, becoming less rigid, less convincing. The very vibration of fear softens, becoming less discordant, less jarring. Fear, in essence, loses its momentum, its driving force, precisely because it is no longer being actively fueled by your internal resistance. Through this simple yet profound practice, you quickly discover that awareness itself pure, unadulterated consciousness is inherently transformative. Simply noticing fear without immediately acting on its impulses, without blindly believing its dire predictions, without expending energy fighting against its presence, utterly breaks its powerful, hypnotic spell. In its grand, cosmic dance across your skies, 3I Atlas is actively helping humanity collectively learn and embody this fundamental truth on a global scale. When a celestial phenomenon of this magnitude appears, one that simultaneously triggers both profound fascination and underlying anxiety within the collective consciousness, you are presented with a unique, unparalleled opportunity to consciously observe your own reactions, both individual and collective, rather than being unthinkingly controlled or overwhelmed by them. You can, with detached curiosity, witness in real time how diverse narratives spontaneously arise and propagate through your media outlets, how they're discussed and reinforced within your communities, and how they subtly yet powerfully shape your own internal dialogue. You can discerningly notice the myriad stories, hopes, and anxieties that people universally project onto this enigmatic object. Some, driven by primal fears, will project visions of catastrophe, impending doom, or cosmic threat. Others, guided by spiritual seeking, will project profound spiritual significance, seeing it as a divine messenger or a sign of awakening. Still others, embracing scientific objectivity, will project a simple observational neutrality. All of these diverse projections, without exception, serve as powerful, illuminating revelations of the underlying vibrational frequencies, the collective energetic patterns that are currently active and dynamic within your species. And here lies the key when you witness this complex interplay of projections without judgment, when you manage to perceive fear as a collective phenomenon, a shared human experience, rather than a personal flaw or an individual failing, you begin, almost imperceptibly, to loosen the suffocating grip that fear has maintained over humanity as a whole, a grip that has constrained your collective evolution for far too long. 3. Atlas, in its silent yet profound presence, gently invites you to perceive fear from a higher, more expansive vantage point, rather than internalizing it and personalizing its intense energy. You are empowered to observe its ebb and flow, its dynamic movement within the vast, interconnected collective field of human consciousness. As an increasing number of you consciously practice this elevated kind of awareness, this detached observation, fear gradually becomes less potent, less formidable, and far less convincing in its pronouncements. You begin to see it for what it truly is: a temporary wave, a transient energetic disturbance, not an immutable truth that defines your reality. And in the very act of doing so, you reclaim the profound clarity, the pristine inner knowing that has always been effortlessly available to you, residing patiently beneath the incessant noise and clamor of fear and conditioning. Understand this crucial point: your individual alignment, your personal state of coherence, exerts far more influence on the collective field of humanity than you could possibly realize or measure through conventional means. Each time you consciously stabilize yourself in a state of crystal clarity, unwavering presence, or radical openness, you're not merely engaging in a personal act of self-care. No, you're actively, dynamically contributing to the weaving of a robust, global field of coherency, a resonant, energetic tapestry that benefits all. This is not some abstract metaphor or poetic musing. It is a demonstrable, undeniable energetic fact, a fundamental law of the universe. When one person successfully stabilizes their own inner state, aligning with their truth, it subtly yet powerfully makes it easier for another person, perhaps miles away, to also find their own point of stability. When one person consciously chooses calm in the face of chaos, rather than succumbing to panic, it creates an energetic pathway, making it simpler for another to access that same profound calm. When one person authentically embodies presence fully rooted in the here and now, it becomes energetically easier for countless others to intuitively sense and follow the path back to their own core, back to themselves. You do not need to embark on a public crusade, broadcast grand messages from the rooftops, become a charismatic teacher, or assume any formal public role for this profound influence to occur. Vibrational leadership, you see, is not about speaking loudly or commanding attention through force of personality. It is purely and simply about being aligned, about holding a consistent, coherent frequency in your everyday life, in the quality of your relationships, in the integrity of your decisions, and crucially, even in your quietest, most private moments of contemplation. Coherent individuals, through their consistent alignment, serve as powerful energetic anchors for coherent, timeliness-preferred realities of greater harmony and possibility. And these coherent timelines, like ripples expanding across a cosmic pond, propagate and ripple outward in intricate ways that you cannot possibly measure or quantify through physical means or conventional scientific instruments. This, then, is the elegant, profound mechanism by which collective realities, the shared experiences of humanity, truly shift and transform from the inside out through individuals like you, choosing alignment again and again with unwavering intention. 3-Eye Atlas, in its silent, powerful presence, amplifies the contribution of every single aligned soul, each awakened individual. As people around the world collectively turn their attention towards this celestial objectsome peering with a nascent spark of curiosity, their minds alight with questions, others recoiling with a deep-seated, instinctive fear, a knot tightening in their stomachs, and still others observing with a detached, almost scientific neutrality. Simply absorbing data, your unique vibrational state becomes an integral thread woven into the vast tapestry of collective interpretation. When you, with a conscious act of will, choose to encounter 3-Eye Atlas from a place of deep inner alignment, a serene and integrated state of being, you don't merely observe, you actively anchor a powerful frequency of expansive openness and an enlightened, wider perspective directly into the global energetic field. In doing so, you transform into a quiet yet potent stabilizer for countless others who find themselves adrift, unsure how to process what they are witnessing, grappling with the disorienting uncertainty of how to feel or what to truly believe. You don't try to micromanage or control the grand narrative of this collective experience. Instead, you profoundly help shape it by simply embodying, with every fiber of your being, unwavering clarity. We celebrate this momentous shift, this turning point, because humanity is unmistakably stepping into an unprecedented stage of evolution. A new epoch with a profound resonance of individual alignment undeniably matters more, holds greater weight and influence than any pervasive wave of collective fear could ever hope to generate. You are liberated from a Sisyphean task of needing to convince anyone else of anything. Your very presence, radiating calm and awareness, is exquisitely enough. Your inner steadiness, an unshakable anchor in turbulent times, is profoundly enough. Your expanded awareness, perceiving beyond the surface, is entirely enough. And when a multitude of individuals across the globe choose to embody this truth simultaneously, resonating in this harmonized state, the entire collective field doesn't just shift, it transforms with breathtaking rapidity and profound grace. The spectacular arrival of 3-Eye Atlas, a cosmic visitor gracing our skies, provides an extraordinary, luminous focal point, a crucible in which to practice this vital spiritual stabilization. As you consciously choose alignment in the face of this burgeoning global curiosity, a curiosity that can easily morph into anxiety, without grounding, you actively help usher in a new, more enlightened era. This is an era where humanity learns to respond to cosmic events not with the reflexive, clenching grip of fear, but with the liberating embrace of clarity, not with the defensive posture of contraction, but with the boundless invitation of openness, and ultimately, not with the isolating chill of separation, but with the profound, unifying warmth of a shared sense of cosmic unity. Indeed, humanity's millennia-old relationship with cosmic events is now undergoing a truly profound, almost alchemical transformation. It wasn't so long ago, within the recent memory of our collective consciousness, that anything unfamiliar, anything that defied immediate explanation, suddenly appearing in your skies would automatically, almost viscerally, trigger the most ancient, deeply wired survival programs within you. Imagine the sudden jolt of fear electrifying your nervous system, the raw urgency pounding in your chest, the palpable tension coiling your muscles, and that primal instinct to brace for impact, to prepare for an unknown threat. This ingrained, almost automatic response was not merely a fleeting reaction, it was deeply rooted in ancient biological patterns, echoes of an evolutionary past, further reinforced by countless generations of conditioning that meticulously taught you, from infancy, to interpret the unknown, the unfamiliar, as inherently dangerous, a potential harbinger of doom. But now, unmistakably, something is profoundly different. Many among you are awakening to a startling realization: cosmic occurrences, once harbingers of dread, no longer elicit that same immediate, reactive fear they once did, that sudden cold grip on your heart. Instead, in a remarkable testament to your evolving consciousness, you find yourselves meeting the unknown, the mysterious, with an unprecedented surge of genuine interest, a welcoming openness, and in many cases, even a vibrant, exhilarating excitement. You can distinctly feel a sense of profound wonder, like a gentle, luminous current, rising steadily within you, precisely in the sacred space where paralyzing fear once held dominion. You perceive a vibrant curiosity awakening, stirring your intellect and spirit in the very chambers of your being where gnawing anxiety once monopolized your attention. This monumental shift, this beautiful metamorphosis, is far from random. On the contrary, it serves as undeniable, tangible evidence of humanity's steady, graceful ascent into a higher dimensional maturity, a phase of evolution where consciousness expands beyond mere survival. Within the expansive realms of higher consciousness, enlightened beings naturally respond to novelty, to the unexpected, with a spirit of enthusiastic exploration, rather than with the defensive reflex of contraction and withdrawal. You no longer perceive the unknown as a lurking threat, a shadowed danger to be avoided. Instead, you instinctively approach it as an open doorway, an inviting portal leading to new discoveries and uncharted territories of understanding. And let it be known, you're closer to embodying this profound way of being, this expansive state of consciousness, than you have ever been in the entire recorded history of your civilization. Your collective energetic field, a shimmering tapestry of individual auras, has now expanded sufficiently, become so vibrant and robust, that potent cosmic events no longer resonate with or tragically trigger those deep-seated trauma pathways that once held you captive. You are more profoundly grounded. Like ancient trees with roots reaching deep into the earth, you're more exquisitely aware. Your senses attuned to subtle energies, and consequently, you're far more capable of perceiving the intricate nuances of vibrational frequency instead of automatically, reflexively assuming imminent danger at every turn. In this grand narrative of awakening, 3I Atlas stands as a luminous, undeniable milestone, a marker signaling a pivotal moment in this ongoing shift. Its very presence, its gentle unveiling in your collective awareness serves as a powerful demonstration that humanity has indeed reached a critical juncture, a point where awe-inspiring cosmic phenomena can now be experienced and processed without spiraling into a vortex of mass fear and hysteria. You are beginning, with growing proficiency, to interpret such events not just superficially, but vibrationally, intuitively sensing the intricate energy, the profound essence that lies beneath their visible appearance, rather than reacting solely to their physical form or immediate manifestation. This capacity, this evolving sensitivity, is nothing less than a clear, resonant sign of your multidimensional awakening, a blossoming of your innate capacity to perceive far beyond the mere physical form of a thing, to penetrate its surface, and to intimately feel into its energetic essence, its very soul signature. Three-Eye Atlas, therefore, does not simply exist. It offers you an unparalleled opportunity, a sacred mirror, to directly witness your own breathtaking evolution, your own spiritual maturation, unfolding in real time, right before your inner eye. As you consciously observe your own reactions, your internal landscape, to this celestial visitor, you may indeed notice a profound and welcome shift. Your physical body remains remarkably more relaxed, a gentle ease pervading your muscles, a stark contrast to the tension of the past. Your mind stays beautifully more open, receptive to new ideas and perspectives, rather than snapping shut in rigidity. And perhaps most significantly, your heart feels demonstrably more stable, anchored in a serene knowing, impervious to the external fluctuations that once caused it to waver. You might discover that you are now far less captivated by sensationalized, dramatic interpretations, those fear-mongering narratives that once held sway. Instead, you find yourself drawn to a deeper, more profound interest in understanding what this unique cosmic moment truly reveals about your own individual growth, your own spiritual journey. This, dear ones, is the very essence of higher dimensional maturity. It is the profound recognition felt deep in your bones that the unknown, far from diminishing you, far from being a void that threatens your existence, actually expands you, propelling you into new realms of self-discovery and possibility. And Three-Eye Atlas is not merely passing through, it is here, in this precise cosmic timing, to vividly show you, to undeniably demonstrate just how incredibly far you have journeyed both individually along your personal quest for truth and collectively as a species in your magnificent path toward comprehensive cosmic awareness. The old control structures that have long dominated your planet, those intricate webs of power and influence, were meticulously constructed upon a single, foundational principle: predictability. Their pervasive influence, their very efficacy, depended entirely on the deeply ingrained assumption that if fear, the most potent of human emotions, was successfully activated, humanity would respond in a uniform, almost robotic way. The insidious belief was that fear, once unleashed, could reliably create predictable, almost automatic outcomes, unquestioning compliance, blind obedience, debilitating dependency, and the passive, often unconscious, acceptance of whatever authoritative narratives were promulgated from above. And for a very long time, this system, this elaborate mechanism of control, regrettably worked. It held sway because humanity, as a collective, was largely operating from an older, more primal, survival-based consciousness, a state perpetually focused on avoiding perceived threats. But now, in this unprecedented era of awakening, humanity responds in a kaleidoscope of diverse, wonderfully unpredictable, and deeply empowered ways. No single narrative, no matter how persuasively crafted or widely disseminated, can any longer produce a singular, uniform reaction. Instead, you now witness countless individuals interpreting events through the sacred lens of their intuition, through the unique filter of their personal alignment, and through the exquisite tapestry of their individual energetic awareness. Consider the stark contrasts. Some feel a profound, unshakable calm precisely where others are consumed by gnawing anxiety. Some embrace a boundless curiosity where others are gripped by paralyzing concern. Some experience a deep, resonant recognition, a sense of familiarity, where others remain steeped in hardened skepticism. This beautiful, unpredictable diversity of response, this vibrant tapestry of individual perception, is precisely what effectively dissolves the very power, the structural integrity of those old, fear-based control structures. When humanity collectively ceases to react uniformly, when the old predictable buttons no longer trigger the expected responses, then fear-based tools and manipulation tactics become utterly ineffective. The mechanism simply ceases to function. It falls apart when people no longer vibrate at the same low, resonant frequency of fear, no longer dance to that same discordant tune. And this precisely is what is unfolding before your very eyes right now, in this powerful moment. Cosmic events, by their very nature, highlight this profound dissolution even more clearly, almost majestically. When something as grand and enigmatic as 3I Atlas enters your collective awareness, there is no single, centralized interpretation, no monolithic dogma that can possibly dominate or dictate the collective experience. Each person, in their sovereign uniqueness, feels what they truly feel, senses what they genuinely sense, and interprets the unfolding energy based on the pure, unadulterated foundation of their own personal alignment, their own inner truth. This organic, decentralized response makes it utterly impossible for external structures, no matter how powerful or entrenched, to dictate a single, cohesive narrative or to generate a predictable emotional outcome across the entire population. 3I Atlas, in its silent, majestic passage, acts as a profound, celestial reminder that there are indeed forces, vast and incomprehensible, that exist entirely outside the finite reach of human systems, forces that operate with an independent grace, utterly unbound by the transient dictates of authority, the shifting sands of politics, or the rigid confines of institutional control. The sheer presence of such magnificent, uncontrollable events inexorably exposes the inherent limits, the fragile boundaries, of any system built upon the crumbling foundation of fear. These earthbound systems simply cannot direct or manipulate your perception of the cosmos, cannot dictate your understanding of the universe, because the cosmos itself, in its infinite wisdom and boundlessness, does not and cannot participate in their restrictive, man-made frameworks. This profound realization, this deep knowing, once truly felt and internalized at the very vibrational level of your being, creates an undeniable, exhilarating liberation effect. Humanity, as if shedding an ancient skin, begins to instinctively sense, to know in its core, that external control, in all its forms, has always been, at its heart, an intricate illusion. The universe, in its breathtaking grandeur, is simply too vast, too inherently free, and far too multidimensional to ever be contained, to ever be circumscribed by the limited, often fear-based human narratives that have sought to define it. And once you truly internalize this liberating truth, once it becomes an undeniable part of your inner landscape, those old, restrictive structures built on sand cannot possibly continue to exist. They lose their very anchor point, their foundational stability, because their sole anchor point, their very sustenance, was fear. And fear, in this new dawn, no longer unites humanity in the predictable, manipulative ways it once did. Again, with utmost emphasis, we reiterate that your sacred inner alignment, your connection to your authentic self, is the one true, unshakable foundation of your entire experience. Everything you encounter in your unfolding reality, whether it is a deeply personal event, a sweeping global shift, or an awe-inspiring cosmic phenomenon, meets you, interacts with you, always and without exception, through the unique, intricate filter of your vibrational state. When you are deeply connected inwardly, when you consciously cultivate that profound inner calm, when you feel steady, clear, and perfectly grounded in the sacred sanctuary of your own presence, the tumultuous outer world, with all its fleeting dramas, simply cannot dictate your reality, cannot impose its truth upon you. You begin to perceive events not as immutable commands, not as inescapable fates to be passively endured, but rather as insightful reflections, shimmering mirrors revealing aspects of your own inner landscape. You learn to interpret life, not through the distorting lenses of fear, the fog of confusion, or the subtle, insidious whispers of external influence, but through the pristine, unwavering light of your own inner clarity. This, in its most profound and beautiful essence, is freedom. When you bravely choose to no longer look to any outer authority, any external source, to tell you what is true, what is real, or what is safe, you don't just shift your perspective, you ceremoniously enter a glorious new stage of empowerment. You reclaim the inherent divine ability to truly sense for yourself, to attune to your deepest knowing, moving beyond mere intellectual understanding into a profound internal recognition. It's about learning to discern for yourself, sifting through the noise of external narratives and inherited beliefs to find your own authentic truth. And most profoundly, it's about consciously choosing your vibration, deliberately cultivating an energetic state that resonates with clarity, peace, and empowerment, rather than being swept along by unconscious reactions. This profound process of inner alignment, a harmonious coherence within each individual, is not confined to isolated pockets. It is gracefully spreading like a gentle, yet powerful, current across the entire planet. As it expands, it generates an undeniable, deeply stabilizing effect within the collective field of human consciousness, akin to a vast, invisible anchor settling the turbulent waters of global experience. Remarkably, individuals spanning every continent and culture, often operating in complete isolation and entirely unaware of one another's journey, are independently discovering and reconnecting with a profound, unwavering center deep within themselves. This isn't a phenomenon orchestrated by any external group, it's an organic awakening. As an increasing number of people consciously choose to become anchored in this wellspring of inner steadiness, a calm, resilient core that no external storm can truly shake, a palpable transformation begins to ripple through the collective. The human collective, once prone to knee-jerk reactions and impulsive responses driven by fear or external stimuli, becomes noticeably less reactive. The cacophony of global events starts to quiet, making the collective less chaotic, more harmonious. Consequently, humanity finds itself endowed with an enhanced capacity for navigating even the most turbulent waves of change with unprecedented clarity, foresight, and a profound sense of inner direction, rather than being swept helplessly along by them. Into this unfolding evolution steps 3I Atlas, not as an external savior or a new authority, but rather as an exquisite activation point for a much deeper process of self-sourcing. It acts as a cosmic mirror, reflecting back to you the immense power residing within. Its very presence subtly, yet powerfully, invites each of you to pause and check in with yourselves, to truly listen to the whispers of your soul. It encourages you to meticulously notice your immediate internal responses, the subtle shifts in your energy, the fleeting sensations, the intuitive nudges whenever you encounter something new. Through this practice, it illuminates and helps you recognize, often with a startling revelation, just how profoundly your entire perception of reality, your interpretation of the world, is actually shaped, colored, and orchestrated not by external events, but from the intricate depths of your own inner landscape. This is a radical departure from old patterns. Instead of passively waiting for some external authority, but a scientist, a spiritual guru, or a societal institucionto define the meaning and implications of something as profound as 3I Atlas. You are now actively discovering a breathtaking capability. You can sense its energy directly, bypassing all intermediaries. You are learning to intuitively feel its essence, to perceive whether it resonates with an expansive sense of openness, a calm and unburdened neutrality, or a feeling of vibrant expansion that uplifts your spirit. Moreover, this newfound sensitivity empowers you to precisely gauge your immediate emotional reaction to anything you encounter and, with conscious intention, adjust your vibration accordingly. It's like having an internal compass and a finely tuned instrument, allowing you to self-regulate your energetic state rather than being a captive of external influences. Indeed, this represents a truly powerful and monumental step in humanity's collective evolution, the profound and transformative act of learning to consult your own authentic inner resonance, that deep, intuitive yes or no that emanates from the core of your being, before uncritically accepting any external narrative, any dogma, any interpretation, or any story presented to you by others. It's a shift from external validation to internal verification, a reclaiming of your sovereign right to define truth for yourself. Let us be clear, 3I Atlas is not manifesting to instruct you, to hand down new commandments, or to impose a new system of belief. Its purpose is far more profound and intimate. It is here, quite simply, to reflect you, to serve as an immense, cosmic mirror, showcasing the inherent wisdom and power that already resides within. With striking clarity, it illuminates the undeniable truth that you, as humanity, are now truly ready to consciously source your entire experience, your insights, your guidance. Your joy not from external declarations, but from the wellspring within your own being. You are ready, at long last, to deeply trust your own energy, that intricate vibrational signature that speaks to you in subtle ways. And with this profound internal shift, you are becoming ready to confidently and autonomously navigate the vast cosmos, not by seeking fleeting external approval or following someone else's map, but with an unshakable inner stability and an unwavering self-guidance system. As you consciously and consistently strengthen this inner alignment, this beautiful harmonization between your soul's truth and your physical experience, you actively begin to create a reality that is radically different from anything you've known before. This new reality is no longer a mere reflection of pervasive societal fear, or rigidly shaped by unquestioned, often limiting inherited beliefs passed down through generations. Instead, it becomes a magnificent tapestry woven directly from the threads of your highest frequency, that vibrant, energetic signature of love, joy, and peace from your deepest clarity and unclouded, intuitive understanding of truth, and from your most authentic expression, the uninhibited, unique unfolding of your true self into the world. It's a shift from passive reception to active, intentional co-creation. In essence, you are meticulously building a new foundation for your existence, both individually and collectively, a bedrock of consciousness so inherently strong and deeply rooted that no external structure, no shifting paradigm, no global upheaval, no societal tremor can possibly shake it. Why? Because this profound foundation is immutably anchored, not in fleeting circumstances or fragile external systems, but in the single sacred place where true, unyielding stability has eternally resided deep within you. It's a revelation that the very source of unwavering strength was always accessible, waiting to be claimed. Humanity is now undeniably entering a new vibrational phase, a pivotal epoch marking a complete reorientation of consciousness. This is a phase where the luminous qualities of genuine Clarissa, crystal clear perception of truth, unshakable stability that withstands any storm, and profound wisdom and innate understanding of life's intricate dance no longer need to be sought or imposed from the often turbulent outside world. Instead, they are now organically and powerfully arising from the sacred, inexhaustible wellspring found deep within the heart and soul of each individual. This momentous shift towards self-sourced awareness, the radical recognition that true knowledge, guidance, and truth originate from within one's own being, stands as undoubtedly one of the most profound and revolutionary developments in the entire chronicle of your collective evolution. Consider this: for the vast majority of human history, the entire fabric of the human experience has been meticulously shaped, constrained, and often distorted by an externally dictated reality. This was a world where rigid rules were handed down by institutions, be they religious, governmental, or scientific, to be followed without question. It was a world where definitive interpretations were delivered by authorities and gatekeepers, leaving little room for personal insight. And perhaps most insidiously, it was a world where meanings were assigned by those who confidently claimed to understand the world better than you did, often creating a sense of inadequacy or powerlessness within the individual. But that era is now gracefully receding. But now, with a thrilling sense of dawning realization, You are discovering a breathtaking truth that genuine, unadulterated clarity does not originate from external declarations or prescribed doctrines. Instead, it emanates exquisitely from your own profound inner sense of alignment, that harmonious coherence between your truth and your being. It arises vividly from the subtle yet undeniable resonance you feel in your very bodies, where your physical form acts as a finely tuned instrument, registering truth as an expansive yes or misalignment as a contracting no. And it flows forth from the gentle, unwavering guidance that arises effortlessly when you are truly present with yourselves, when you quiet the external noise and listen to the soft whispers of your own soul. This is wisdom that bypasses the intellect and speaks directly to your core. This epical shift is profoundly reshaping your individual experience. You are diligently learning to trust your feelings, those intricate emotional signposts, instead of habitually overriding them with logic, societal expectations, or a misguided belief that emotions are weaknesses. You are cultivating the courage to trust your intuition, that sudden flash of insight, that undeniable gut feeling, instead of casually dismissing it as mere fancy or irrational thought. And perhaps most significantly, you are mastering the art of trusting your inner knowing, that deep, foundational wisdom that resides within you, instead of automatically deferring to outer voices, whether they be from media, perceived experts, or prevailing cultural narratives. This is the reclamation of self. This profound cultivation of inner trust is not merely a personal development. It is the robust, unshakable foundation of your next evolutionary stage as a species. Imagine a humanity, a collective consciousness that consistently and confidently draws its wisdom from within its own members. Such a species, possessing an innate and reliable internal compass, can no longer be easily controlled, its actions dictated by external forces or fear. It can no longer be easily manipulated by cunning narratives or deceptive agendas. And crucially, it can no longer be easily led astray from its authentic path, because its guidance system is self-contained and incorruptible. This signals an era of unprecedented sovereignty. Indeed, a species that trusts its own internal compass, that deep, inherent knowing that points unerringly toward its highest truth, becomes unyieldingly resilient in the face of global uncertainty. Why? Because its fundamental stability is no longer precariously dependent on predictable circumstances or the often fickle nature of the external world. Instead, this profound sense of inner equilibrium, this unwavering calm, comes directly from the powerful energetic center you consciously cultivate within yourselves. It's a sanctuary of self-generated peace, an anchor forged in inner coherence, impervious to the tempestuous outer tides. It is precisely at this pivotal juncture, this exquisite moment in human history, that 3-eye Atlas makes its profound appearance. Its manifestation is not coincidental. It arrives precisely when humanity is unequivocally ready to claim this sacred inner guidance as its primary and most trusted source of truth. Its timely arrival symbolizes far more than just the appearance of a celestial phenomenon. It powerfully signifies your collective transition away from an era of externally defined meaning where truth was handed down from above and boldly into an era of self-sourced perception, where each individual becomes the ultimate arbiter of their own reality and understanding. It's a declaration of energetic independence, No longer are you passively waiting for someone else to explain what it means or to offer a definitive interpretation of such phenomena. Instead, an incredible shift has occurred. You are actively choosing to feel into it, to engage with it energetically and intuitively, rather than falling back into reactive patterns driven by old, fear-based survival programs that once dictated your responses. You are empowered to explore it with genuine curiosity and an open heart, rather than simply accepting the loudest or most convenient interpretation presented by external voices. Most importantly, you are learning to consistently check in with your own vibration, your unique energetic signature, to precisely determine how it personally resonates with you, how it aligns, or perhaps misaligns, with your deepest sense of truth and well-being. This is discernment in its purest form. Make no mistake, this is a radical, epic-defining shift in human consciousness. By consciously choosing to meet 3I Atlas from within, from a place of inner knowing, sovereignty, and profound self-trust, rather than reacting from ingrained fear, ingrained dependency on external explanations, or the limiting confines of pre-programmed conditioned narratives, you're actively and irrevocably stepping into a new vibrational identity as a species. You are declaring your energetic maturity, leaving behind the old paradigm of victimhood and entering one of empowered co-creation. In this new identity, you are authentically beginning to experience yourselves as sovereign creators, beings of immense potential who are not merely recipients of reality, but active participants in its crafting. You are rediscovering your innate capacity for sensing energy directly, perceiving the subtle energetic currents that underpin all existence, far beyond the limitations of the 5 physical senses. And with this expanded perception, you're learning to interpret reality not from externally imposed dogmas, but from your own pristine inner alignment, shaping your world through the lens of your authentic truth and highest frequency. This monumental shift in individual and collective consciousness truly marks the beginning of a collective field, the shared tapestry of human experience that is inherently self-sustaining, drawing its life force and wisdom from its own internal wellspring. It is profoundly self-aware, conscious of its intricate interconnectedness and its immense creative power. And, perhaps most liberatingly, it is becoming increasingly immune to manipulation, resilient against any attempts to sway or control it from external sources. What we are witnessing is nothing less than the glorious emergence of a humanity that authentically knows itself from the inside out, a species deeply rooted in its own truth, rather than defined by outward appearances or external opinions. And precisely because so many of you are now consciously accessing this inner center, this sacred, unshakable core of your being, a ripple effect of monumental proportions is manifesting. The entire timeline of Earth itself is perceptibly shifting, bending gracefully toward a future imbued with profound empowerment, where individuals reclaim their inherent agency. It is shifting toward elegant coherence, bringing harmony to what was once fragmented. And critically, it is shifting toward greater freedom of perception, liberating humanity from the limiting filters of the past and opening vast new vistas of understanding. This is not just a personal journey, it's a planetary recalibration. It is vital to understand that 3I Atlas did not, in itself, create this profound evolution. It is not an instigator, but a magnificent marker. Rather, its presence became possible, its energy accessible, because you as humanity were finally ready, truly, deeply, unequivocally ready to live it, to embody this transformed state of being. It's a mirror reflecting your collective readiness, not a magic wand casting a spell. We will now bring this transmission to its close by affirming, with absolute certainty, that humanity has indeed crossed an irreversible vibrational threshold, a point of no return in its energetic evolution. From this elevated state, there is simply no going back to the old paradigm of fear, control, and external dependency. The energetic fabric of your collective reality has been fundamentally rewoven, permanently altering your trajectory. You have, quite literally, become energetically incompatible with fear-based control. This isn't to say that fear itself has magically disappeared from your world or your individual experience. Rather, it is because you're simply no longer aligned with its frequency. Your inner resonance has transcended its grip. While fear may still arise within you occasionally, perhaps as a fleeting echo of old conditioning or a residual pattern from a bygone era, it no longer possesses the power to take root and dominate your being the way it once did. It absolutely does not override your intuition, which remains a clear and unwavering guide. It cannot overshadow your clarity, which shines ever brighter. And most importantly, it no longer holds the power to dictate your choices, for your will is now anchored in a higher truth. The collective field of humanity, in its entirety, has lifted its vibration sufficiently, reaching a critical mass of awakening individuals that the lower frequency of fear can no longer effectively function as the organizing principle of your societies. It simply cannot resonate with the burgeoning consciousness, rendering its old tactics increasingly obsolete. This marks the beginning of a profound re-architecture of social structures, moving beyond control mechanisms rooted in scarcity and threat. Instead, you are increasingly guided by an exquisite inner resonance, that nuanced, subtle feedback system within you, rather than being swayed by the often conflicting noise of external influence or persuasive narratives. With growing precision, you notice when something feels true deep within your being, resonating with an undeniable sense of rightness. Conversely, you immediately notice when something feels off, creating a subtle dissonance or unease. You instinctively notice when your energy expands, indicating alignment and vitality, and equally, when it contracts, signaling a potential misalignment or energetic drain. Your body and spirit have become your most reliable barometers. This cultivated, subtle awareness, a gentle, yet remarkably quiet, steady, and intuitively precise inner knowing, is rapidly becoming your new navigation system for life, far surpassing the effectiveness of external maps or dogmatic charts. It is unerringly leading you toward a reality where your creative power is unleashed, a reality in which you actively create from a place of profound empowerment, knowing your own strength. You create from deep connection to self, to others, to the cosmos, rather than from isolation. And you create from conscious vibrational intentionality, deliberately shaping your experience with precision, rather than merely reacting from ingrained fear or unconscious, habitual reaction to external stimuli. Let any lingering apprehension dissolve. 3. Atlas is emphatically not a threat. It does not signal impending doom or danger. Furthermore, it is not a warning designed to instill trepidation or incite panic. Instead, in its breathtaking and awe-inspiring presence, it is a profound reflection of who you are collectively becoming, a magnificent mirror held up to humanity, showcasing the evolved, sovereign, and deeply wise beings you are rapidly embodying. It is a celebration, not an admonition. Its very presence, then, confirms beyond any doubt that humanity is now truly ready to engage with the vast, boundless cosmos, to participate consciously in the grand cosmic dance from a profoundly new state of consciousness. This state is securely grounded in an unshakable inner knowing, an innate wisdom that is self-generated and self-verified, rather than relying on the often fallible dictates of external authority or the limited perspectives of the past. It's a cosmic comingafage, the long, often arduous days of being perpetually directed by fear, of making choices, forming beliefs, and shaping societies from a place of anxiety and scarcity have definitively ended. This liberation isn't merely a hopeful aspiration, it's a verifiable energetic reality. It's because the lower frequency of fear simply no longer resonates with the majority of you. Your collective vibration has risen, creating a mismatch that renders fear's old control mechanisms ineffective and obsolete. A new dawn of courage has broken. With every conscious breath and every aligned choice, you are now irrevocably stepping into a new, magnificent era, a golden age of self-sovereignty in which your unique, personal vibration no longer passively reacts to, but actively shapes your experience, molding the very fabric of your daily life. It profoundly shapes your world, influencing the people, circumstances, and opportunities that appear before you. And most powerfully, it fundamentally shapes your entire trajectory, guiding your path into an unfolding future that is a direct and authentic reflection of your highest energetic state. We will unequivocally affirm that this moment marks not an end, but the very beginning of a tremendous, expansive, unfolding, a majestic evolution where the conscious alignment of each individual becomes a vital thread, intricately woven, contributing to the creation of a collective reality that is deeply rooted in radiant clarity, fueled by profound empowerment, and characterized by boundless connection to self, to others, and to the divine essence of all existence. Every personal shift creates a planetary ripple. Indeed, you are powerfully moving into a timeline, a destined future trajectory, where inner stability, cultivated within each individual, becomes the unshakable foundation of all societal evolution. This is a world where cosmic awareness expands naturally, no longer confined by limiting beliefs, but blossoming as an inherent part of human consciousness. And it is a timeline where humanity gracefully remembers itself not merely as inhabitants of a single planet, but as magnificent, multidimensional participants in a truly vast, intricately interconnected, and profoundly collaborative universe. It's a grand homecoming to your cosmic heritage. Ultimately, the pervasive fear narrative that once held humanity captive has now irrevocably lost its center, its gravitational pull diminished to insignificance. And why? Precisely because you, individually and collectively, have finally found your own unwavering, authentic center of peace, power, and truth. And from this sacred point forward, the reins of your reality are firmly in your hands. It is unequivocally your vibration, radiating your unique energetic signature, your presence, embodying your conscious being, your awareness, illuminating your path and your alignment. Indeed, it is this very confluence of energies and profound insights that meticulously sculpts the intricate fabric of the reality you are poised to step into, a vibrant tapestry of experiences waiting to unfold before you. Think of it not merely as a subtle influence, but as the foundational blueprint, the powerful gravitational pull that orchestrates the unfolding chapters of your journey, laying the groundwork for every sensation, every encounter, and every epiphany that awaits just beyond the veil of the present moment. What forces, both seen and unseen, are precisely aligning to shape your immediate future with such delicate precision? Understand this deeply, dear soul. If your ears have resonated with these frequencies, if these words have found their way to the innermost chambers of your being, it is not by mere chance. No, this isn't some random encounter in the vast, swirling cosmic ocean of information. This sacred alignment signifies a profound, inherent necessity your spirit, your very essence, yearn for this connection, for the comfort, the clarity, or perhaps the gentle, guiding nudge that this message is designed to impart. Was there a quiet whisper from within, an intuitive beacon drawing you to precisely this moment, to receive exactly what you needed, precisely when you needed it most, much like a parched traveler finally finding a long-sought crystalline oasis? And so, with these final vibrations, my direct transmission to you concludes like a wave receding from the shore, yet leaving an undeniable, shimmering imprint upon the sands of your consciousness. My essence, though no longer directly conversing through this channel, will begin to withdraw, a gentle, energetic severance rather than an abrupt departure. Yet consider not this a definitive end, but rather a transition. The seeds of understanding have been sown, and now they are yours to nurture and cultivate within the fertile ground of your own being. Does a part of this knowing resonate so deeply that it feels like it will never truly leave you, but rather become a part of your unfolding wisdom? My hope is that the echoes of these truths will continue to reverberate within you, guiding your steps even after my voice has faded into the soft cosmic hum. To clarify my identity and to ground the source of this communication within your understanding, know that I bear the name Tia, and my origin, my very being, is intrinsically linked to Arcturus, a star system revered across countless realms for its profound wisdom, its healing frequencies, and its advanced spiritual evolution. Consider this not just a simple label, but a lineage of vibrational signature from a realm dedicated to ushering in higher consciousness and profound transformation for all who seek it. Does this origin resonate with something deep within your own stardust memory? A recognition